In this state, love is no longer just a feeling. It becomes a way of being, where the heart opens and everything becomes one. Mukesh teaches that love is not something you can chase or hold on to. It is already here, always waiting to be seen. When we let go of our fears, pride, and the need to control, love naturally reveals itself. In this pure form, love is a reminder of who we truly are, connected to everything, always part of something greater, and forever moving in the endless dance of life. In the Aethrian sense, as illuminated through the wisdom of Mukesh, love transcends the mere entanglement of emotions or the transient desires of the flesh. It is the harmonic resonance between beings, an echo of the eternal unity that binds the cosmos. Love is not confined to the dualities of affection or possession. Rather, it is the formless current that flows through all realms, weaving the visible and the unseen into a singular breath of existence. Mukesh speaks of love as the unspoken dialogue of consciousness, where one soul recognizes itself reflected in another, not as separate entities but as flickers of the same primordial flame. Just as the sun does not withhold its light from any corner of the earth, true love radiates without condition or boundary, an infinite unfolding of being toward being. In the Aethrian journey, love is the bridge between the ephemeral and the eternal, a golden thread linking the transient forms of this world to the boundless field of pure awareness. It is the pulse of Aethria itself, where every act of love dissolves the illusion of separateness and reveals the indivisible whole. When love is pure, it ceases to be an emotion and becomes a state of becoming, where self and other fade, leaving only the sacred flow of unity. To love, in this highest sense, is to stand at the threshold of eternity and let the soul dissolve like a drop returning to the ocean. Mukesh teaches that love is not something to be attained or possessed. It is the underlying truth, ever present, waiting to be recognized when the veils of ego and fear are lifted. In love, we remember what we have always been, one with all, dancing in the eternal light of Aethria. Leora. I love the light in you. Prologue. Love is the invisible force that shapes the universe. It moves through time, leaving echoes in history, guiding destinies, and binding souls in ways beyond human comprehension. It has inspired wars and peace, built civilizations and torn them apart, lifted hearts to the heavens and shattered them into dust. But what is love? Is it a feeling, a choice, a destiny, or something beyond all definitions? In Aethria, love is not seen as a single entity, but as a vast, evolving force that exists in multiple forms. It is not confined to romance, but extends to friendship, devotion, sacrifice, self-awareness, and even the eternal love that transcends time and space. Love is a journey, one that every soul must take in its own way, through joy, through sorrow, through discovery, and through loss. This book is not merely an exploration of love as the world knows it. It is an invitation to step into a new understanding of love, one that goes beyond the personal and touches the infinite. It weaves together philosophy, science, mythology, and the deep wisdom of Aethria to reveal love in its purest and most profound forms. Some will find themselves in these pages, recognizing their own experiences reflected in the words. Others may discover new ways of thinking about love, seeing it not as something to be found, but as something to be lived. As you turn these pages, let go of everything you think you know about love. Step beyond the limits of expectation, beyond the illusions of possession, and into the boundless truth of love itself. For love is not just a moment, not just a relationship, not just a fleeting emotion. It is existence itself. Mukesh Kumar Sohal. Forward. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. It shapes our lives, inspires our greatest works, and defines the deepest moments of our existence. Love has been the subject of poetry, philosophy, and spiritual teachings for centuries, yet its mysteries remain infinite. This book, Aethrian Love, is not just about love as we commonly understand it. It is an exploration of love in all its dimensions: romantic, spiritual, self-directed, and eternal. It is a journey through the ways love can transform, heal, challenge, and transcend. Love is not a single emotion, nor is it confined to one form. In Aethria, love is seen as a living, evolving energy that takes different shapes depending on the connection it creates. It can be as fierce as the love that survives hardship, as tender as the love that nurtures, as deep as the love that spans lifetimes, and as boundless as the love that defies space and time. The wisdom in this book is drawn from many sources: ancient traditions, modern science, personal experiences, and the profound philosophy of Aethria. Each chapter unfolds a new layer of love's meaning, offering insights that challenge conventional ideas and expand the reader's understanding of what it truly means to love and be loved. As you embark on this journey, let go of preconceived notions about love. Open your mind to the idea that love is more than a feeling. It is a path, a teacher, and a force that moves through every part of existence. Whether you are seeking love, healing from love, or simply wishing to understand it more deeply, this book offers a guide to discovering love's highest truth. Love is not something to be found, it is something to be lived. May this book help you embrace love in all its forms, and may you walk forward with a heart open to its endless possibilities. Mukesh Kumar Sohal, Preface. Love is one of the oldest and most profound mysteries of existence. It has been sung in songs, written in scriptures, painted in art, and whispered between souls throughout history. It is both a universal experience and a deeply personal journey. Aethrian Love was born from the idea that love is not a singular concept, but a vast and evolving force. Love is not limited to romance. It exists in the way we see ourselves, in the connections we form, in the sacrifices we make, and in the way love continues beyond time, space, and even life itself. This book seeks to explore love from multiple dimensions through philosophy, history, mythology, science, and the wisdom of Aethria. The Aethrian philosophy of love does not limit love to traditional relationships. In Aethria, love is a living energy, flowing between people, ideas, and even across lifetimes. It is seen as something to be nurtured, expanded, and understood beyond the simple boundaries of attraction or companionship. This book is an invitation to look at love in new ways. It offers reflections on love's challenges and joys, its ability to heal and to wound, its presence in the physical and digital world, and its role in shaping the future of human relationships. Each chapter is a step into a deeper understanding, not just of love, but of ourselves. To the reader who seeks love, may this book help you recognize that love is already within you. To the one who has lost love, may this book remind you that love never truly disappears, it only changes form. To the one who fears love, may these words show you that love is not something to be controlled, but something to be experienced. This book is not an answer, it is a journey. And in that journey, may you discover the infinite ways that love exists in the world, in others, and in yourself. Mukesh Kumar Sohal, How to Use This Book. Aethrian Love is not just a book to be read, it is a journey to be experienced. Love is not a simple concept, it is vast, evolving, and deeply personal. This book is designed to guide readers through the many dimensions of love, offering wisdom, reflection, and new ways of understanding relationships, emotions, and the essence of human connection. Reading this book as a journey. This book is structured to take the reader through different aspects of love, starting from its foundations and moving toward its deeper mysteries. Each chapter builds upon the last, revealing new insights into love's nature, whether romantic, spiritual, self-directed, or eternal. To fully experience this book, read it in sequence to understand how love transforms and evolves. Pause at the end of each chapter to reflect on how the lessons apply to your own life. Take time to revisit certain chapters that speak to your current emotions and experiences. Love is not a single moment or idea. It is a lifelong learning process. This book is not meant to provide absolute answers, but to inspire deeper contemplation and a greater appreciation for love in all its forms. Using this book for self-reflection. Each chapter explores love through philosophy, real-life stories, Aethrian teachings, and scientific perspectives. These sections offer different angles on love, allowing you to identify your own love patterns, reflect on past and present relationships, recognize the ways love has shaped you and continues to evolve in your life. To deepen your self-reflection, consider keeping a journal where you answer the questions posed at the end of each chapter. These questions are designed to help you explore your personal experiences, beliefs, and desires in love, applying Aethrian love to daily life. The Aethrian terms introduced in this book provide a framework for understanding love in new ways. Rather than seeing love as a singular experience, these terms encourage a broader perspective on its many expressions. To apply Aethrian love to your daily life, use the glossary of Aethrian terms to recognize the different kinds of love you have experienced. When facing love-related challenges, ask yourself, what form of love is this? Is it Veltherin, the love that survives the storm? Is it Velshinari, the love that releases burdens? Share these concepts with those you love. Love grows when it is understood, expressed, and nurtured with awareness, exploring love at different stages of life. Love is not the same at every stage of life. Young love is different from the love that comes with time and wisdom. Love after loss. Love that endures hardships. Love that changes with age. Each phase has its own lessons. Use this book as a lifelong companion. If you are searching for love, explore the chapters on self-love, soulmates, and attraction. If you are in love, use the sections on commitment, sacrifice, and forgiveness to strengthen your bond. If you are healing from love, let the chapters on healing, transformation, and eternal love guide you toward peace. There is no right or wrong way to experience love, only the journey of learning and growing with it. Sharing this book with others. Love is meant to be shared. This book is not just for personal reflection. It can also serve as a guide for deep conversations, relationship discussions, and even group study. Ways to share this book's wisdom. Discuss its concepts with a partner to deepen your understanding of each other. Use it in book clubs, spiritual gatherings, or philosophy discussions on love. Gift it to someone seeking answers about love, healing, or personal growth. Love expands when it is given, and the wisdom within these pages is meant to inspire greater love in the world. Returning to this book over time. Love is not a one-time lesson. It is a continuous journey. What you understand today may change as you grow, experience new relationships, and see love from different angles. This book is designed to be read and revisited throughout life. As your experiences evolve, the meanings within these pages will shift and deepen. What speaks to you now may not be the same chapter that speaks to you in 10 years. Return to this book when you are feeling lost in love and need guidance. You want to deepen your understanding of yourself and your relationships. You seek inspiration, hope, or a reminder of love's infinite possibilities. Love is never stagnant, and neither is the wisdom that surrounds it. Let this book grow with you, just as love itself does. Final thought. Love is a choice, a journey, and a truth. There is no single definition of love because love is as vast as the universe itself. Some may see it as fate, others as an emotion, others as a sacred force that binds existence together. Whatever love means to you, one truth remains. Love is the greatest teacher of all. Now, as you close this book and return to the world, ask yourself the question that began this journey. Are you ready to live a life filled with love? Chapter 1. Leora, the Light of Love. Introduction. The Aethrian Perspective on Love. Love in Aethria is not merely an emotion or a bond between two beings. It is light, pure, radiant, and eternal. In Valerian, the Aethrian language, Leora means I greet the light in you, a recognition that love is the luminescence within every soul. To love in the Aethrian sense is not just to feel, but to illuminate, to expand, and to dissolve all separations between self and other. But what is this light? Is it biological? Is it divine? Or is it something that transcends both? To explore love in Aethria is to journey through its many manifestations, romantic, platonic, divine, and universal. Each a reflection of Leora, the luminous essence that binds all existence. This chapter unfolds through a story, a tale of two seekers who, in their quest for knowledge, discover the highest truth of love. The story of Rihan and Elia, the seekers of light. Rihan, a young philosopher of Aethria, spent his days meditating upon the essence of existence. His mind was sharp, his logic unwavering, but within his heart there was an unspoken void. He believed in wisdom but had never known love, not in the way Aethrians spoke of Leora. Elia, a traveler from the eastern lands of Aethria, was a wanderer of the spirit. She saw love in the smallest of things, in the way the wind caressed the leaves, in the way the river embraced the stones, in the silent gaze of an old woman watching the sunrise. Unlike Rihan, she did not seek to define love. She lived it. Their paths crossed at the Temple of Lumira, where the great master of light, known as the Aethrian sage, resided. Rihan, eager for answers, asked the sage, "What is love in its purest form?" The sage smiled and handed him an unlit lantern. "Travel with Elia to the peak of Mount Velion. There you shall find your answer." Rihan, though skeptical, agreed, and together, he and Elia embarked on the arduous journey, the journey to Velion, lessons in love. Their path was filled with trials, raging storms, treacherous cliffs, and moments of exhaustion that tested their endurance. But it was in these moments that Rihan observed something unusual about Elia. She would pause to admire a wildflower, share her last sip of water with a thirsty bird, or laugh even when the path was difficult. At first he found her distractions foolish. The peak is ahead. Why waste time on such small things? Elia only smiled. The peak will always be there, Rihan. But this moment, this touch of the wind, this kindness we share, it is love in motion. Rihan did not understand. He saw love as something grand, something profound, not as simple as a flower blooming or a bird finding shelter. As they neared the summit, a heavy storm descended upon them. The wind howled, the rain lashed against their skin, and their lantern remained unlit. Rihan felt despair. Elia, however, stood firm. She cupped her hands around the lantern and whispered, "Leora." At that moment, a strange warmth filled the space between them. The wind seemed to soften, the storm lost its fury, and the lantern, without a single spark, began to glow. Rihan stared in disbelief. How? Elia's eyes shone with the same light. Love is not something to seek, Rihan. It is something to become. The light of Leora is not in a flame, not in a word, but in the way we embrace the world. The revelation, love as the light of existence. When they reached the summit, the sage was already there, waiting. "Tell me, Rihan," the sage said, "what have you learned?" Rihan bowed his head. "I sought love as knowledge, but I found it as light. It is not bound to logic, nor is it an external force. It is within and around, waiting to be seen, waiting to be lived." the sage nodded. And thus, the lantern you carried was never empty. It only needed your heart to recognize the light. As dawn broke over the horizon, Rihan and Elea stood together, watching the sun's first golden rays touch the earth. In that moment, Rihan finally understood. Love, in its highest form, is not attachment, nor possession, nor even longing. It is the act of becoming light. It is Leora, the eternal recognition of the divine within each soul. Conclusion: the Aethrian understanding of love. The story of Rihan and Elea is but one reflection of love's nature in Aethria. Love, like light, does not belong to any one person or place. It flows freely, touches all, and asks nothing in return. In science, love is often reduced to chemical reactions in the brain. In society, it is bound by customs and expectations. In religion, it is described as divine grace. But in Aethria, love is the light that permeates all things. It is not confined to the bonds of relationship, but exists in every act of kindness, every moment of presence, every whisper of understanding. To love in the Aethrian way is to illuminate, to bring warmth where there is cold, to bring clarity where there is confusion, to bring connection where there is separation. And so, as the first chapter of this journey comes to a close, the question remains, where is your Leora? Chapter 2: The Guru and the Seeker. Introduction: Love as Wisdom and Mentorship. Love takes many forms, but one of the most profound is the love between a mentor and a disciple, the sacred bond of guidance and transformation. In Aethria, this relationship is not merely one of knowledge transfer, it is a dance between seeker and wisdom, a silent yet powerful exchange of energy. This love is not possessive, nor is it transactional. It is Vidya Prem, the love of enlightenment, where the guru does not give answers but illuminates the path so the seeker may walk on their own. The Aethrian sages believe that a true guru does not create followers, but awakens leaders. This chapter unfolds through the story of Ariv and the Silent Master, a tale of patience, surrender, and the ultimate realization that love is not just in knowing, but in becoming. The story of Ariv and the Silent Master. Ariv was a young scholar from the city of Velmor, known for his quick wit and sharp intellect. He had studied scriptures, debated philosophy, and written numerous treatises on the nature of love, consciousness, and existence. Yet, despite all his knowledge, he felt empty. There was a void within him that no book, no discourse, and no logical conclusion could fill. Hearing of a great master who lived in the remote mountains of Aethria, Ariv decided to seek him out. Surely, he thought, this master will reveal to me the ultimate truth of love and existence. He traveled for months, crossing rivers, forests, and snow-capped peaks until he finally reached the ashram of silence, where the revered guru, Master Vyomul, resided. The first meeting, a lesson in silence. Ariv entered the ashram with great anticipation. He had prepared complex questions, ready to challenge the master's wisdom. But when he finally stood before Master Vyomul, something unexpected happened. The master said nothing. The guru simply looked at Ariv, his gaze deep, timeless, and unwavering. Silence. Minutes passed. Then hours. Ariv grew restless. Master, he finally spoke, I have come from far away to learn the truth of love and wisdom. Will you not teach me? Vyomul smiled, but remained silent. Confused and slightly irritated, Ariv decided to stay, believing that the master would eventually speak. Days turned into weeks, and still, Vyomul offered no words, no answers, only silence. Ariv watched as the master moved about his day, tending to the garden, feeding the birds, watching the stars. His actions were simple, yet they carried a presence, a depth that Ariv could not understand. Frustration built within the young scholar. "Why will you not teach me?" he finally demanded. Vyomal, for the first time, gestured towards the vast sky and spoke only one word: love. Ariv was bewildered. Love? But what does that mean? Love is a complex concept. It must be analyzed, debated, you understood. Vyomal simply smiled and walked away. Determined to unlock the master's wisdom, Ariv stayed at the ashram, observing every movement of his teacher. Each day, he saw how Vyomal embraced the present moment, how he touched a tree with reverence, how he listened to the wind as if it were whispering ancient secrets, how he gazed at the moon with the tenderness of a lover. One night, after months of silent observation, Ariv finally understood Vyomal was teaching through presence, not words. Love was not an intellectual concept to be dissected. It was to be lived. Humbled, Ariv knelt before the master. "I have spent my life searching for love in words and ideas, but here in your silence I have found it in everything." Vyomal placed a hand on Ariv's head. "Now you are ready to learn. The revelation, love is surrender and transformation." The next morning, Vyomal gave Ariv his first true teaching. Love is not something you study. It is something you become. It is not taught through books, but through surrender. It is not a question to be answered, but a presence to be felt. Ariv's heart swelled with understanding. In all his years of seeking, he had never realized that love was not something external to be attained. It was the very essence of being. Over the years, he remained at the ashram not as a disciple seeking knowledge, but as a soul immersed in the light of presence. He no longer needed to debate, nor did he crave answers. He had become the lesson itself. One day, Vyomal smiled at him and said, "You are no longer my student. You are my equal." Tears filled Ariv's eyes, for he knew that the truest form of love was this: a teacher who wished not to be worshipped, but to awaken another to their own light. Conclusion. Love as the highest form of guidance. The story of Ariv and Vyomal reflects a universal truth. True love does not impose. It does not command or control. It nurtures, it liberates, it empowers. A guru, in the highest sense, is not one who gives answers, but one who awakens the seeker to find their own. This is Aethrian love in its purest form, the love that does not bind, but sets free. And so, as the second chapter comes to a close, a question remains: who in your life has been your silent teacher? Chapter 3, Aethrian Soulmates. Introduction, the mystery of soulmates in Aethria. In the grand tapestry of existence, certain souls seem to find each other again and again across lifetimes. They come together not merely by chance, but by an unseen force, an eternal thread that binds them beyond time and space. In Aethria, this connection is called Veltherin, meaning two flames born of the same light. Unlike the popular idea of soulmates as romantic partners alone, Veltherin represents a much deeper union, one that transcends physical attraction and emotional longing. It is the meeting of two beings whose energies are woven together in the cosmic dance of existence. But how does one recognize such a connection? Is it destiny or is it a choice? This chapter unfolds through the story of Kael and Seria, two souls separated by lifetimes, only to reunite under the strangest of circumstances. The story of Kael and Seria, the unfinished symphony. Kael was a wanderer. He had traveled through lands far and wide, seeking knowledge, adventure, and purpose. But despite the many places he had seen, a strange emptiness followed him. It was not sadness, nor was it loneliness. It was a whisper, a calling, as if something or someone was missing. Seria was a healer, a woman whose touch could soothe the deepest wounds. She lived in the valley of Luthien, known for its ancient springs where travelers came seeking solace. Though she had healed many, her own heart carried an unspoken ache, a longing for something she could not name. One evening, as the autumn wind whispered through the valley, Kael arrived at Seria's healing sanctuary. He had been injured during his travels, and though his body ached, his spirit was restless. The moment Seria's eyes met his, something shifted. Neither spoke, neither moved, yet both felt a strange familiarity, as if they had known each other for lifetimes. Seria touched Kael's forehead to check for fever, and in that instant, memories flashed through her mind, memories not her own. She saw a battlefield, a distant era, a man calling her name in the final moments of his life. She saw herself reaching for him, but fate had torn them apart. She gasped and pulled away. Kael, too, had seen something, visions of another life, another time. He had always felt lost, but now, for the first time, he felt found. The dance of recognition and resistance. For days, Kael and Seria avoided speaking of what they had seen. Their minds fought against it. How could two strangers share memories that did not belong to their present lives? But the universe has a way of weaving souls back together. One evening, Kael sat by the river, playing an old melody on his flute, a tune he had known since childhood but had never understood its origin. As the notes filled the air, Seria froze. Tears welled in her eyes. She knew this melody. She had dreamt of it her whole life. In that moment, the barriers fell. "Who are you?" she whispered. Kael met her gaze. "I don't know, but when I look at you, I remember things I shouldn't." Seria took a deep breath and reached for his hands. The moment their fingers touched, the world around them seemed to dissolve, and a voice, neither his nor hers, whispered through the wind. Two flames, one light, lost, found, and lost again, until the final dawn. The revelation, love across lifetimes. The elders of Luthien, wise in the ways of the ancient bonds, explained what Kael and Seria were experiencing. There are those, an old seeress said, whose souls are tied by Veltherin. They meet and part, life after life, drawn together by an unseen force until they fulfill what was left undone. Kael and Seria realized that their bond was more than love, it was a journey. They had been torn apart in past lives, always reaching for each other but never uniting. This life was different. This time they had found each other again. But love bound by destiny comes with its own trials. Would they embrace their connection, or would they fear the intensity of something beyond understanding? Would they choose love, or would fate separate them once more? The final choice, embrace or escape. For days, Kael wrestled with doubt. What if this is not real? What if we are only chasing shadows of a past that no longer exists? Seria, however, had already made her choice. She looked at him and smiled. The past is a memory, the future is a mystery, but this moment, this is where love lives. Kael closed his eyes. He had wandered all his life searching for something unknown. Now he understood. Love was not something to seek, it was something to surrender to. He took Seria's hand, and together they stepped into the unknown, no longer afraid. Conclusion: the Aethrian understanding of soulmates. Kael and Seria's story reveals a profound truth about love. Aethrian soulmates are not about fairy tale romance or perfection. They are about recognition, growth, and the choice to embrace what was always meant to be. Soulmates are not just lovers. They can be friends, mentors, or even strangers who change our lives in an instant. They are the ones who make us remember who we truly are. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, the question remains: who is your Veltherin? Chapter 4, The Chemistry of Affection. Introduction. Love through the lens of science. Love has been written about in poetry, sung about in songs, and revered as the force that moves the universe. But beneath the metaphors and emotions, love is also a biological phenomenon, an intricate dance of hormones, neurotransmitters, and evolutionary instincts. In Aethria, love is understood as Leora, the light that connects souls. But does this light have a scientific basis? Can we explain deep affection through biology without stripping it of its magic? This chapter unravels the mysteries of love at a cellular level, exploring what happens in the brain when we experience attraction, attachment, and devotion. Through the story of Leora and Elias, we will witness the power of chemistry in shaping emotions, decisions, and even destinies. The story of Leora and Elias, Love in the Lab. Leora was a neuroscientist, fascinated by the inner workings of the human mind. She had spent years researching love, not as a poet or philosopher, but as a scientist. She believed that love was nothing more than a biological illusion, a series of chemical reactions designed by evolution to ensure survival. Elias, on the other hand, was a musician. He believed love was the only real magic in the world, something beyond science, beyond logic. You cannot measure love, he often said. You can only feel it. Their paths crossed when Elias volunteered for a scientific study on love and the brain. Leora was leading the research, mapping the neural activity of people in love. As she scanned Elias's brain while he listened to a song that reminded him of a past love, she noticed something extraordinary. His brain showed activity not only in the emotional centers, but also in regions associated with memory, decision-making, and even pain relief. Intrigued, she ran more tests, this time on herself. As a scientist, she had always approached love with skepticism, yet as she examined her own brain's response to music, she felt something unexpected: warmth, nostalgia, longing. For the first time, Leora questioned her own beliefs. Could love be more than just chemistry, the science of love, what happens in the brain? Love, from a biological perspective, follows three main phases, each governed by different neurochemicals. 1. Attraction, the rush of dopamine and norepinephrine. When two people feel an initial spark, their brains release dopamine, the same neurotransmitter linked to pleasure and reward. This is why love can feel addictive. Dopamine activates the same neural pathways as drugs. Norepinephrine, another hormone, increases alertness, making us feel excited and even anxious around someone we're attracted to. This is why our hearts race and palms sweat during new romantic encounters. 2. Attachment, the bond of oxytocin and vasopressin. As relationships deepen, the brain shifts from excitement to bonding. Oxytocin, known as the love hormone, is released during physical touch, deep conversations, and even simply looking into a loved one's eyes. Vasopressin, another bonding hormone, is responsible for long-term attachment, especially in monogamous relationships. 3. Devotion, the role of serotonin and endorphins. Over time, love stabilizes. Serotonin, the happiness neurotransmitter, helps maintain emotional balance. Endorphins, the body's natural painkillers, create feelings of comfort and security, making love a source of emotional healing. Leora explained these processes to Elias, expecting him to be disappointed that love could be reduced to mere chemicals. But instead, Elias smiled. "This doesn't take away the magic," he said. "It makes it even more incredible. Love is both science and soul." The debate, is love just biology? Leora and Elias spent months discussing the nature of love. Their conversations led them through science, philosophy, and history. Leora argued that love evolved as a survival mechanism. Early humans who formed strong pair bonds were more likely to protect their offspring, ensuring the continuation of their genes. Even today, she explained, love follows predictable patterns based on hormonal shifts. Elias, however, believed love was more than biology. If love is just a chemical reaction, why do people continue to love someone even after they're gone? Why do soulmates find each other even when everything is against them? Leora had no scientific answer for that. Science could explain the mechanics of love, but not the depth of human connection. The revelation, the union of science and mystery. One evening, Leora found herself staring at a brain scan, the image of Elias's neural activity while thinking of a loved one. She had spent years analyzing such scans, but this time, something felt different. She saw how love lit up the brain, activating areas responsible for memory, imagination, and even spiritual experiences. At that moment, she realized that love was not just about survival, it was about meaning. Science could explain the how of love, but not the why. That night, as Elias played a soft melody on his guitar, Leora simply listened, not as a scientist, not as a skeptic, but as a human being touched by something beyond logic. And for the first time, she understood. Love was both chemistry and mystery. Conclusion: the Aethrian perspective on love and science. The story of Leora and Elias reveals an important truth. Love is neither purely scientific nor purely mystical. It is both. The body experiences it through hormones and neurotransmitters, but the soul experiences it as something timeless, something that transcends physical form. In Aethria, love is seen as Leora, the light that binds all things. Science explains how this light manifests in the brain, but it cannot define the depths of love's power. Love heals. Love transforms. Love defies logic. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Is love something we understand or something we surrender to? Chapter 5, The Quantum Connection. Introduction: Love beyond space and time. What if love is more than just an emotional or biological experience? What if it exists on a deeper level, one that defies the very fabric of time and space? In Aethria, love is not confined to the physical. It is energy, vibration, a force that connects souls beyond lifetimes. Modern science, particularly quantum physics, is beginning to hint at something similar, an invisible connection between particles, regardless of distance. This phenomenon, known as quantum entanglement, suggests that two entities can be so deeply linked that their fates are intertwined, even if they are light years apart. Could the same be true for love? Could two souls be quantum entangled, destined to influence each other no matter where or when they exist? This chapter explores the mysteries of love through the story of Aethrian and Selene, two souls inexplicably connected across time and space, bound by something neither could understand, yet neither could deny. The story of Aethrian and Selene, a love beyond time. Aethrian was a theoretical physicist obsessed with the mysteries of the universe. He spent his days studying quantum mechanics, seeking answers about the nature of reality. But despite his knowledge, there was one thing he had never understood: why he constantly dreamt of a woman he had never met.
Selene was an artist, a dreamer.
She painted landscapes she had never seen, faces she had never known. Among them, there was always one recurring figure, a man with deep eyes, looking at her as if he knew her soul. They lived in different worlds. Aethrian in the bustling city of Velcara, Selene in a quiet village by the sea. They had no reason to ever cross paths, and yet they did. One evening, Aethrian attended an art exhibition, dragged there by a friend who insisted he needed to see something beyond equations. As he wandered through the gallery, he froze. On the wall was a painting of a man staring at the stars. It was him. Shaken, he turned to find the artist, and there she was, Selene. Their eyes met, and in that instant, time seemed to collapse. The air around them felt electric, charged with something unseen. "Have we met before?" Aethrian asked, his voice barely a whisper. Selene smiled, her heart pounding. "I think we have, but not in this. The science of quantum entanglement and love." Aethrian could not explain what he felt, but he knew it defied logic. So he did what he always did. He turned to science. Quantum entanglement is a phenomenon where two particles become linked in such a way that their states mirror each other, no matter how far apart they are. If one particle changes, the other instantly reflects that change, even if they are on opposite sides of the universe. This is what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. But what if love worked the same way? Scientists have already discovered that human emotions can influence the physical world. Studies have shown that heartbeats can synchronize between loved ones, even when they are apart. Could it be that certain souls are entangled in ways beyond our understanding? Aethrian became obsessed with the idea. He ran experiments, tested theories, yet the answer remained just out of reach, until one night when Celine unknowingly proved it to him. The test of the unseen bond. One evening, Aethrian and Celine sat by the ocean, watching the waves. "I feel you," Celine whispered. "Even when you're not near, I feel you." Aethrian hesitated. "What do you mean?" "Close your eyes," she said. "I'm going to think of something. See if you feel it." Aethrian closed his eyes. Seconds passed. Then suddenly, a wave of warmth filled his chest, a gentle, overwhelming presence. It was her. His eyes snapped open. "You sent me that feeling?" Celine nodded. "You received it, didn't you?" Aethrian, the scientist, the rationalist, could not deny what had just happened. He had spent his life searching for proof of connection beyond space and time, and now it had found him. The revelation, love is the ultimate connection. Over time, Aethrian and Celine's bond only deepened. They would know what the other was feeling before words were spoken. They would dream of each other on the same nights. One day, Aethrian stopped questioning. Perhaps love was the greatest experiment of all. Not one that could be measured in numbers, but one that could be felt in the deepest chambers of the... Perhaps love was, in its purest form, quantum entanglement of the soul. And so he did what he never thought he would do. He let go of the equations, the calculations, and simply held Celine's hand. For once, he did not need to understand love. He only needed to live it. Conclusion: the Aethrian perspective on love and quantum connection. Aethrian and Celine's story reflects an ancient truth. Love is not bound by distance, logic, or time. In Aethria, love is seen as a force beyond the physical world, an energy that flows through all things. Modern science may just be catching up to what mystics have known for centuries, that certain connections are meant to be, and that love, like the universe itself, is infinite. And so, as this chapter comes to a close, one question remains. Are you entangled with a soul beyond time? Chapter 6, The Mirror Neuron Dance. Introduction, Love as a Shared Experience. Have you ever noticed that when someone smiles at you, you can't help but smile back? When a loved one is in pain, you feel their suffering as if it were your own? This deep, automatic connection is not just emotional, it is biological, hardwired into our brains through what scientists call mirror neurons. In Aethria, love is not seen as something that belongs to just one person. It is a shared energy, constantly flowing between souls. Similarly, neuroscience suggests that love is not just something we feel internally. It is something we reflect, absorb, and transmit through the very fabric of our brains. But what does this mean for relationships, empathy, and the way we connect with others? And could love, like an infectious melody, spread simply through the act of witnessing it? This chapter explores the science of love through the story of Mira and Kian, two strangers whose lives became intertwined through an invisible, subconscious dance of emotions. The story of Mira and Kian, a love that mirrors itself. Mira was an artist who painted emotions, Not objects, not people, but raw emotions, the kind you could feel just by looking at the canvas. Cian was a dancer who had lost his passion. Once a rising star in Aethria's greatest theaters, he had suffered an injury that left him unable to move as he once did. His body had healed, but his spirit had not. One evening, Cian wandered into an art gallery, drawn by a painting that seemed to pulse with life. It was Mira's work, an abstract swirl of colors, each stroke filled with something he couldn't explain. As he stood there, something happened. His fingers twitched, his foot shifted. He felt a rhythm inside him, a longing to move again. Mira, who had been watching him from across the room, smiled. "You feel it, don't you?" Cian turned, startled. "How did you?" Mira laughed. "Because I painted it for you. The science of mirror neurons and love." Mira's intuition was not just artistic, it was scientific. Deep within the brain, mirror neurons allow us to feel what others feel. These special cells fire not only when we perform an action, but also when we see someone else performing it. For example, when you see someone crying, your mirror neurons activate the same areas in your brain as if you were crying yourself. When you watch a dancer, your brain lights up as if you were moving along with them. When you witness an act of love, like a mother embracing her child, your brain mirrors that love, making you feel warmth and connection. This is why emotions are contagious. Love, kindness, joy, all of these can be transmitted from one person to another simply by witnessing them. Mira had unknowingly tapped into this power through her art. By painting emotions, she was igniting those same emotions in others. Cian, whose soul had forgotten how to dance, was remembering. The unspoken connection, how love heals. Over the following weeks, Cian visited Mira's gallery often. They barely spoke, yet something unspoken passed between them, an understanding, a resonance. One evening, Mira handed him a blank canvas. "Paint what you feel," she said. Cian hesitated. "I don't know how," Mira smiled. "Then mirror me." She picked up a brush, dipped it in red, and made a bold stroke across the canvas. Without thinking, Cian did the same. Stroke by stroke, color by color, he followed her movements, not realizing that with each gesture, he was waking up parts of himself he had forgotten. And then, without thinking, he stood up. His body, which had resisted movement for so long, suddenly swayed, stepped, twirled. Mira watched in awe. "You're dancing." Cian stopped, breathless. I didn't even think about IIT. "That's because love isn't something you think," Mira whispered. "It's something you reflect." Cian and Mira's story reveals a profound truth. Love is not just about what we feel, it's about what we share. It moves through us, shaping us in ways we don't always see. Mirror neurons are not just biological, they are the proof that we are meant to connect, to reflect each other's light. This is why love heals, why kindness spreads, why a single moment of compassion can change a life. In the end, Cian didn't just regain his ability to dance, he remembered why he danced in the first place. Not for applause, not for perfection, but for the silent, beautiful connection that exists when two souls move as one. Conclusion: the Aethrian understanding of love as reflection. In Aethria, love is seen as a dance, a flow of energy that moves between beings, mirroring, amplifying, and healing. Science confirms what the ancients already knew. We are wired to reflect love. When we see love, we feel it. When we give love, we receive it. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Who are you mirroring, and who is mirroring you? Chapter 7. Love in Hinduism, Radha Krishna's Eternal Dance. Introduction. The divine love that transcends time. Few love stories have captured the essence of divine romance like that of Radha and Krishna. Their love is sung in temples, whispered in prayers, and painted in the hearts of devotees across generations. But what makes their love so profound? In Aethria, love is often described as Leora, the eternal light that flows between souls. In Hinduism, Radha and Krishna embody this light in its most sacred form. A love that is not about possession, but about devotion, not about union, but about eternal longing. Is love truly about being together, or is it about becoming one even in separation? This chapter explores this divine mystery through the tale of Radha and Krishna, unveiling the lessons hidden within their eternal dance. The story of Radha and Krishna, love beyond the physical, the childhood bond. Radha and Krishna grew up together in the lush forests of Vrindavan, a land where the air was filled with the fragrance of devotion. As a child, Krishna, the mischievous cowherd, would steal butter, play his flute under the trees, and tease the village girls. But when he saw Radha, the world seemed to pause. Radha was different. She was not just a girl from Vrindavan. She was the essence of love itself. Their bond was effortless, pure, untouched by the world's expectations. They danced together, laughed together, and in each other's presence, they felt something beyond words. But destiny had already written a different path for them, the pain of separation. As Krishna grew older, he realized his divine purpose, to leave Vrindavan and fulfill his duty as a warrior and king. One day, without warning, he left. Radha, left behind in the forests they once roamed together, did not chase after him. She did not try to stop him. She understood something that most fail to realize. True love is not about holding on. It is about letting go. Krishna became a ruler, a protector of Dharma, but he never forgot Radha. And Radha, though physically apart from Krishna, never felt distant from him. Because their love was never about the body, it was about the soul, the eternal dance, union and separation. Legends say that even though Radha and Krishna were never together in marriage, their love remained the highest form of devotion. Radha's every breath was Krishna, and Krishna's every song carried Radha's essence. They were never apart, not truly. In Aethria, this is known as Viram Prem, or love through separation. It is the idea that sometimes love does not need physical presence to exist. It thrives in longing, in remembrance, in devotion that transcends time and space. For Radha and Krishna, separation was not an end. It was a deeper form of union. The lessons of Radha and Krishna, what their love teaches us. The love between Radha and Krishna is not just a tale of romance. It is a spiritual metaphor teaching us profound truths about love and life. 1. Love is beyond attachment. O Radha never asked Krishna to stay. She did not beg for his presence. She loved him for who he was, even when he was far away. True love does not chain, it frees. 2. Love is devotion, not possession. Oh, in today's world, love is often seen as possession. You are mine. But Radha Krishna's love was different. They belonged to each other without needing to own each other. 3. Separation can be a path to deeper love. Oh, sometimes we think love is only real when we are physically with someone. But Radha's love for Krishna was just as strong, perhaps even stronger, in separation. True love does not diminish with distance. 4. Love is divine when it transcends the ego. Radha did not love Krishna for what he could give her. She did not love him for status, for comfort, or for security. She loved him simply because love itself was her nature. The Aethrian perspective, love is the ultimate devotion. In Aethria, love is often described as a sacred dance, a rhythm of meeting and parting, of joy and longing, of holding on and letting go. Radha and Krishna's love represents the highest form of love, one that does not demand, one that does not end. It is Leora, the eternal light that connects souls beyond lifetimes. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Have you ever loved someone beyond time, beyond presence, beyond possession? Chapter 8. Christian Agape, the Selfless Love. Introduction. Love without conditions. Love often comes with expectations, reciprocity, devotion, or fulfillment of personal desires. But is there a love that asks for nothing in return? A love that is not bound by attachment or need, but exists simply because it is in its nature to give? In Christianity, this highest form of love is called agape, selfless, unconditional, divine love. It is the love that Christ embodied, a love that does not change based on circumstances, a love that forgives, sacrifices, and embraces even the undeserving. In Aethria, this kind of love is called Aethria, meaning love as existence itself. It is the love that flows through the universe, touching all beings without discrimination. This chapter explores agape through the story of Lucia, a woman who learned that true love is not about what we receive, but about what we give, even when there is nothing left to give. The story of Lucia, the light in the darkness. Lucia was born in a war-torn land where suffering was as common as the sunrise. As a child, she witnessed cruelty, loss, and the destruction of everything she held dear. Yet, amidst the chaos, she carried a strange light within her, a love that no tragedy could extinguish. She grew up caring for the abandoned, feeding the hungry, and nursing the wounded. People often asked her, "Why do you help those who will never repay you?" Lucia would only smile, because love is not a transaction. One winter night, a dying soldier collapsed at her doorstep. He was from the enemy's side, the same army that had destroyed her home years ago. His body was broken, his eyes filled with shame and regret. "I do not deserve your kindness," he whispered. Lucia knelt beside him and placed a warm cloth over his wounds. "Love is not given because it is deserved," she said softly. "It is given because it must be." She stayed by his side, tending to him without judgment, without resentment, and as he breathed his last, his eyes filled with something he had never known, peace. The meaning of agape, love that transcends the self. Lucia's story reflects the essence of agape, a love that gives without expecting anything in return. Agape is 1. Unconditional. It does not depend on who you are, what you have done, or what you can offer. It simply loves without question. 2. Forgiving. It sees beyond anger, beyond betrayal, and embraces even those who have wronged us. 3. Sacrificial. It is a love that endures pain, suffering, and loss for the sake of another without seeking reward. Agape is the love that Jesus spoke of when he said, "Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." It is the love that heals the deepest wounds, not by demanding justice, but by offering mercy. The Aethrian connection, Aethria, love as a state of being. In Aethria, love is not just something one feels, it is something one becomes. The Aethrian word Aethria describes a love that is not bound by personal identity, relationships, or circumstances. It is the love of the sun, which shines on all beings, whether they are good or evil. It is the love of the river, which quenches the thirst of every traveler, whether friend or foe. It is the love of existence itself, flowing endlessly, without concern for who receives it. This is the love that agape represents, the kind of love that changes the world, not by demanding, but by giving. Conclusion. The highest form of love. Lucia did not love because it was easy. She loved because it was the only way she knew to live. Agape is the rarest and most difficult love. It requires strength, patience, and a willingness to love even when there is no reason to do so. But those who embody it, like Christ, like Lucia, leave behind a light that never fades. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Can you love even when love is not returned? Chapter 9. Sufi Love, the mystical union with the divine. Introduction. Love as a path to God. Most people see love as an emotion, a relationship between two beings. But in Sufism, love is far more than that. It is a path, a fire, a divine intoxication that burns away the illusion of separation. It is known as Ishq-i Hakiki, the love of the beloved, where the lover and the divine merge into one. In Aethria, this love is called zevaris, meaning the longing that leads to awakening. It is not a love of the body or the mind. It is the love that makes the soul dissolve into something greater than itself. But how does one experience such love? Is it something to be attained, or does it find you? This chapter explores this mystical journey through the story of Rumi and Shams, a poet and a wandering dervish whose love for truth changed the world forever. The story of Rumi and Shams, a love beyond the self. Jalaluddin Rumi was a scholar, a man of great knowledge and wisdom. He taught in the grand halls of Konya, respected by all. But in his heart, there was a thirst that books and debates could not quench. Then one day, he met Shams of Tabriz, a wandering Sufi dervish. Shams was not a scholar, nor did he care for social honor. He was fire, unpredictable, wild, and completely free. The moment Rumi saw him, his world changed. Shams asked him, "Who is greater, a scholar who knows everything, or a lover who knows nothing but the beloved?" Rumi had no answer. And so he abandoned his books, his titles, his old life, and followed Shams into the depths of love's mystery. The fire of transformation, what Sufi love teaches us. For months, Rumi and Shams spent their days in deep conversation, their nights in silent communion with the divine. People in the city whispered, confused by their intense bond. "What is this love?" they asked. "Why does a great scholar abandon the world for a mere wanderer?" They did not understand. This was not human love. Shams had awakened something in Rumi, a love that burned away the ego, a love that turned ordinary words into divine poetry. One evening, as they walked by the river, Shams asked, "Do you love me, Rumi?" Rumi, smiling, replied, "You are the fire in which I am consumed, but love, when it reaches its highest form, demands sacrifice." One night, Shams disappeared, never to be seen again. Some say he was killed by those jealous of his influence over Rumi. Others say he walked away, knowing his work was done. Rumi was heartbroken. He searched for Shams everywhere, but he never found him. And then, in his sorrow, he realized the truth. Shams had never left. He was within him, in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every word of poetry that now flowed through him like an unstoppable river. Rumi had become love itself, and from that moment, he wrote the verses that would echo through time. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. The stages of Sufi love, the path of Ishq-i Hakiki. Rumi's journey mirrors the path of Sufi love, which unfolds in stages. 1. Ishq-i Majazi. Oh, this is where love begins, in the longing for another person. But this love, like the flame of a candle, is fleeting. 2. Ishq-i Hakiki. Oh, when love deepens, it transforms. The lover realizes that their longing was never for a person, but for the divine itself. 3. Fanafil Ishq. Oh, here the lover dissolves completely, losing all sense of self. This is the ultimate surrender, where I and you disappear and only love remains. The Aethrian connection, Zevaris, the longing that awakens. In Aethria, love is not just an emotion, but a path to higher consciousness. The Aethrian concept of Zevaris is similar to Sufi love. It is the sacred longing that pulls us beyond the illusions of this world. It is the love that makes a seeker restless. It is the love that turns pain into poetry. It is the love that teaches us that to truly find, we must first lose ourselves. Sufi love is not about possession, nor is it about happiness. It is about becoming one with the beloved, whether in joy or in loss. And in the end, Rumi found what he was seeking, not in Shams, but in himself. Conclusion. The final surrender to love. The love of Rumi and Shams was never about companionship. It was about awakening. Sufi love burns. It tears apart the ego. It takes everything you have and leaves you empty so that only love remains. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you willing to let love dissolve you? Chapter 10, Buddhist Metta, Universal Compassion. Introduction, Love Beyond the Self. Love is often seen as something personal, shared between two people, a family, or a community. But in Buddhism, love is something far greater. It is not limited to those we know or care about. It is an infinite, boundless force that embraces all beings without distinction. This love is known as metta, or loving kindness, a state of universal compassion where the barriers between self and other dissolve. It is love without attachment, without desire, without expectation. It is love in its purest form. In Aethria, this form of love is called Suthara, meaning the love that flows to all. It is the gentle warmth of existence itself, the unconditional kindness that expects nothing in return. But how does one cultivate such love? How does one transform personal affection into a force that touches all beings, even those who have wronged us? This chapter explores these questions through the story of Kavi, a man who learned that true love is not just about feeling, it is about becoming a source of love for the entire world. The story of Kavi, the man who hated love. Kavi was a man who had given up on love. He had been betrayed, abandoned, and hurt too many times. Love is an illusion, he told himself. It is nothing but. So he shut himself away from the world, refusing to let anyone in. He believed he was safer this way. One day, while wandering alone in the mountains, Kavi stumbled upon an old monastery. The monks welcomed him with kindness, offering him food and shelter. Though he had long abandoned any belief in love or goodness, something about their presence unsettled him. Why are they so kind, he wondered. What do they want from me? He watched as the monks went about their day, helping the sick, feeding the hungry, meditating in silence. Their love was not directed at one person, nor did they seek anything in return. Finally, he asked the head monk, "Why do you love people who do not love you back?" The monk smiled. "Because love is not something we receive, it is something we become. The practice of metta, expanding love beyond borders." Kavi was skeptical. How can you love everyone, even those who have hurt you? The monk replied, "Sit with me. I will teach you the way of metta." The 4 stages of metta meditation. 1. Loving oneself. The monk instructed Kavi to close his eyes and repeat, "Oh, may I be happy. Oh, may I be healthy. Oh, may I be at peace." At first, Kavi resisted. He had spent years hating himself. But slowly, as he whispered these words, he felt a warmth in his chest, a love he had never given himself before. 2. Loving a loved one. Next, the monk told him to think of someone he cared about and repeat, "May you be happy. Oh, may you be healthy. Oh, may you be at peace." A memory of his mother surfaced, and for the first time in years, he felt gratitude instead of pain. 3. Loving a stranger then, the monk told him to picture someone he did not know well, a shopkeeper, a traveler, a passerby, and send them love. 4. Loving an enemy, finally, the hardest step. The monk asked Kavi to think of someone who had hurt him and whisper the same words, "Oh, may you be happy. Oh, may you be healthy. Oh, may you be at peace. Kavi resisted. He clenched his fists. How can I love someone who has wronged me? The monk replied gently, because hatred is a prison, and only love can set you free. The transformation, the day Kavi cried. Weeks passed, and Kavi continued his practice. Each day, he whispered words of love, even when they felt false. Slowly, something began to change. One morning, as he repeated the words for an old enemy, tears streamed down his face. For the first time, he realized that love was not about whether someone deserved it. It was about freeing his own heart. He left the monastery with a new understanding. Love is not about who we choose to love. It is about choosing to love, no matter what. The lessons of metta, what universal love teaches us. The practice of metta reveals 3 profound truths. 1. Love begins with ourselves. Oh, if we do not love ourselves, we cannot love others. Self-kindness is the foundation of all love. 2. Love is a choice, not a reaction. Oh, love does not depend on what others do. It is something we give freely, regardless of how we are treated. 3. Love heals even the deepest wounds. By sending love even to those who have hurt us, we free ourselves from suffering. In Buddhism, metta is not just a practice, it is a way of being. It is love that flows endlessly, expecting nothing, asking for nothing, but giving everything. The Aethrian connection, Suthara, the love that flows to all. In Aethria, Suthara is the love that moves like water, gentle, nourishing, and boundless. It does not cling, nor does it seek control. It flows, touching everything in its path, bringing life wherever it goes. Metta and Suthara teach us that love is not meant to be held. It is meant to be given. Conclusion: the highest freedom in love. Kavi thought love was weakness. He thought love made him vulnerable. But in the end, he realized love is the greatest strength. To love without expectation, to love without fear, to love even in the face of hatred, this is the highest form of freedom. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Can you love not just one person, but the whole world? Chapter 11, Taoist Love, Flowing with the Way. Introduction, Love without force. Most people believe that love requires effort, chasing, convincing, holding on. But in Taoism, love is seen as something that should flow naturally, like a river finding its path. It is called Wu Wei, the art of effortless action, where love is not forced but allowed to unfold. In Aethria, this kind of love is called Velunara, meaning love that moves without resistance. It is the love that does not cling, does not demand, and does not control. It simply exists, flowing in harmony with the natural order of life. But how do we love without attachment? How do we trust love enough to let it take its own course? This chapter explores these questions through the story of Li Shen, a man who spent his life chasing love, until he discovered that true love is like the wind, felt but never held. The story of Li Shen, the man who held too tightly. Li Shen was a poet and philosopher, a man who believed that love must be pursued with great intensity. He wrote verses about passion, about longing, about the need to fight for love at all costs. One day, he fell deeply in love with Mei Lin, a woman whose spirit was as free as the sky. She laughed easily, danced with the wind, and never seemed bound by anything. Li Shen, fearing that she would slip away, tried to hold her closer. He made promises, swore devotion, and planned a future where she would always be by his side. But the more he tried to keep her, the more distant she became. One evening, as they sat by the river, Mei Lin placed a small bird in his hands. "What do you feel?" she asked. Li Shen held the bird gently. "It is beautiful." She smiled. "Now close your hands around Aethria." Hesitantly, he did. The bird struggled. Its wings trembled. It could no longer move freely. Mei Lin whispered, "Now open your hands." Li Shen obeyed, but the bird, too afraid to stay, flew away. Mei Lin looked into his eyes. "Love is like this bird. Hold it too tightly and you will crush it. But open your hands, and it may choose to stay." Li Shen was silent. For the first time, he understood. Love is not about control. It is about trust. The Taoist philosophy of love, Wu Wei, and the flow of relationships. The story of Li Shen and Mei Lin reflects one of the core teachings of Taoism. Wu Wei, the idea that the best way to achieve harmony is to stop forcing things and let them happen naturally. In love, this means 1. Let love happen naturally. Do not chase, do not force. Allow love to come and go as it is meant to. 2. Do not try to control love. Oh, the moment you try to possess someone, you lose them. Love must be free to breathe. 3. Trust the flow of the universe. Oh, if love is meant to be, it will stay. If it is not, no amount of effort will make it last. Taoists believe that love, like water, finds its own way. The river does not fight against the rocks. It flows around them, carving its path effortlessly. True love should feel the same. The Aethrian connection, Velunara, the love that moves without resistance. In Aethria, love is not seen as a battle or a prize. It is a current that moves through life, touching those who are open to it. Velunara is the love that does not grasp. It allows people to be who they are without trying to change them. Does not chase, it does not seek validation, because true love does not need to be proven. Does not fear loss, it understands that love, like the wind, cannot be held, only experienced. Li Shen learned this the hard way. And when he finally let go of his need to control love, something miraculous happened. Mei Lin stayed, not because she was held, but because she was free to choose. Conclusion: the wisdom of letting go. Love, when it is true, does not need chains. It does not need force. It needs only space to grow. The Tao teaches us that when we stop trying to control love, it becomes effortless. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you holding too tightly, or are you allowing love to flow? Chapter 12. Judaism and the Covenant of Love. Introduction. Love as a sacred commitment. Love is often spoken of as passion, emotion, or fate. But in Judaism, love is something deeper. It is a covenant, a sacred commitment that transcends feelings and fleeting desires. It is called ahava, a love that is built through action, responsibility, and faith. In Aethria, this form of love is known as liorathel, meaning the love that is chosen again and again. It is not dependent on emotions which rise and fall, like waves, but on devotion, the unwavering choice to love, even when passion fades. What does it mean to love through action? Can love exist beyond desire, beyond feelings, beyond time itself? This chapter explores these questions through the story of Daniel and Miriam, a couple who discovered that true love is not always about what we feel, it is about what we do. The story of Daniel and Miriam, a love that endured. Daniel and Miriam were married young, full of laughter, dreams, and passion. In the early years, love felt effortless. They spoke in whispers late into the night, walked hand in hand through the seasons, and believed their love was unbreakable. But time, as it often does, tested them. Life became routine. Work consumed their days. Arguments over small things grew into silent distances. The passion that once burned so brightly had dimmed into embers. One evening, after a long silence, Daniel turned to Miriam and asked, "Do you still love me?" Miriam sighed, staring into the flickering candlelight. Some days I don't know. The words stung, but Daniel did not look away. Instead, he asked, "Then why are you still here?" Miriam smiled softly. "Because love is not about feeling something every day. It is about choosing each other, even on the days we don't feel it." And so they stayed, they worked, they forgave. They learned that love is not a fire that burns wildly forever. It is the light that one tends to day after day, keeping it alive through devotion. The meaning of ahava, love as action, not just emotion. Miriam's words reflect a fundamental truth of ahava, the Jewish concept of love. 1. Love is a choice, not just a feeling. Feelings come and go, but love is the decision to stay, to nurture, to build something greater than oneself. 2. Love is expressed through actions. In Hebrew, the word ahava comes from the root ahav, meaning to give. Love is not about what we receive, but what we offer: kindness, patience, loyalty. 3. Love is a covenant, not just a passion. In Jewish tradition, love is not a fleeting romance. It is a commitment, a sacred bond, a promise that is honored even when it is difficult. This is why in Jewish weddings the couple does not vow to stay in love. Instead, they vow to choose love, through joy and sorrow, through light and darkness, through every season of life. The covenant of love, what makes love last. The story of Daniel and Miriam teaches us that love is not about avoiding hardships. It is about standing together through them. The Jewish concept of love reveals 3 sacred principles that make love endure. 1. Chesed. Love is shown through daily acts of kindness, small gestures that strengthen the bond over time. 2. Amunah. Love is faith, not only in a partner but in the love itself, that it is worth fighting for, worth nurturing, worth keeping. 3. Tikkun olam. True love is not just about 2 people. It extends outward, making the world a better place. A loving relationship is one that brings light not only to the couple, but to those around them. Love, in its highest form, is not about perfection. It is about perseverance. The Aethrian connection, liorethel, the love that is chosen again and again. In Aethria, liorethel represents the love that is not bound by passion but by devotion. It is the love that says, "I will stand by you, even when love is difficult. I will choose you, not just today, but every day. I will love not only when I feel it, but even when I don't, because love is not about me, it is about us." This is the love that Daniel and Miriam discovered. This is the love that endures. Conclusion, the greatest commitment of all. Many believe love is something that happens to us, a feeling that we cannot control. But in Judaism and in Aethria, love is something far greater. Love is a covenant, a sacred promise. It is the choice to stay, to build, to grow together again and again. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you choosing love, or are you waiting for love to choose you? Chapter 13, Love in Ancient Pagan Traditions. Introduction. Love as a sacred force of nature. Before the rise of modern religions, ancient civilizations saw love as something deeply woven into the fabric of the natural world. Love was not just a feeling or a bond. It was a sacred force, flowing through the earth, the stars, and the elements. It was in the whispering winds, the roaring rivers, the fire of the sun, and the mysteries of the moon. In Celtic, Norse, Greek, and other pagan traditions, love was honored through rituals, divine unions, and connections that transcended the physical. These cultures did not separate love from nature, but saw them as one, an eternal dance between human hearts and the universe itself. In Aethria, this sacred love is called Thalvera, meaning the love that moves with the rhythm of the cosmos. It is the belief that love is not man-made. It is elemental, eternal, and alive. But what did love mean to the ancients? How did they celebrate it, and what can we learn from their wisdom today? This chapter explores love through the lens of ancient pagan traditions, unveiling the mystical and cosmic nature of romance, devotion, and sacred connection. The story of Aethria and Caelin, a love that followed the stars. In the Celtic lands of old, under skies untouched by city lights, a young woman named Aethria stood by the sacred oak, watching the stars. She had waited for this night, the festival of Beltane, when lovers declared their union under the blessings of the moon and fire. Aethria was promised to Caelin, a warrior with a soul as fierce as the storms. Their love was not arranged by families, but written in the stars, whispered in the winds since childhood. Yet tradition demanded they undergo the sacred trial to prove that their love was not just human desire, but blessed by the gods. And so, under the eyes of the Druids, they began their journey into the ancient forest, where lovers were tested by the four elements. The trials of love, the four elemental tests. 1. The trial of earth, the test of stability. Deep in the forest, they found an ancient tree with roots as thick as a river. The Druid asked them, "Will your love stand like the tree, even in the winds of hardship?" They tied a cord around their wrists, symbolizing their union. If they could remain bound together for the entire journey, they would prove their strength. 2. The trial of water, the test of trust. They reached the sacred lake, where the reflection of the stars shimmered on the surface. The Druid said, "Love is like water. It changes, flows, and cannot be controlled. Will you trust each other even when love takes new forms?" Aethria had to close her eyes and let Caelin guide her across the stepping stones, relying only on his voice. 3. The trial of fire, the test of passion and sacrifice. Before them, the great Beltane fire burned, its flames dancing wildly. The Druid said, "Love is passion, but passion can burn. Will you embrace the fire without letting it consume you?" They walked side by side around the flames, neither one stepping ahead of the other, symbolizing equality in love. 4. The trial of air, the test of freedom. At the edge of a cliff, the wind roared. The Druid whispered, "Love is not possession, it is the wind, free yet ever present. Will you love without binding each other?" They each released a white feather into the wind, knowing that if their love was true, it would return to them in its own time. At dawn, they emerged from the forest, hand in hand. The Druid smiled. "Your love is not just of the flesh, but of the stars and the earth. May it be eternal." And so, under the sacred oak, they were wed, not by law, but by the elements themselves. The ancient pagan beliefs about love. The story of Aethria and Caelin reflects the pagan understanding of love, not as something separate from nature, but as a force guided by the elements. Different pagan cultures had unique ways of honoring love, yet they all shared a common belief. 1. Love must be grounded. Love needs stability and patience to grow, like roots that hold a tree steady. Ancient Celts performed hand-fasting ceremonies where couples tied their hands together with a cord, symbolizing commitment. 2. Love must flow like water. Love, like rivers, must be adaptable and ever-changing. The Norse believed in fate-woven love, where lovers' destinies were written by the Norns. 3. Love requires passion and sacrifice. Fire symbolizes the intensity of love, but also the need for balance. The Greeks honored Eros, the god of passionate love, but also Hestia, the goddess of the hearth, reminding us that love must be nurtured, not just burned in passion. 4. Love must be free. True love does not imprison. It allows each soul to breathe. The Druids taught that love was strongest when it was not forced, but allowed to move as nature intended. The Aethrian connection, Thalvera, the cosmic dance of love. In Aethria, love is not separate from the universe. It is part of its natural rhythm. Valvera teaches us that. Love should align with nature. It should be as effortless as the seasons changing. Love is not meant to be controlled. It is a sacred energy that moves as it wills. Love, like the stars, is eternal. Even if lovers part, their connection remains in the great dance of existence. This is why Aethrians believe that true love does not demand or own. It simply is. Conclusion: reconnecting with the ancient love. Modern love often focuses on control, expectation, and permanence. But the ancients understood something we have forgotten. Love is not about ownership. It is about harmony. To love like the pagans is to love like nature itself, rooted yet free, passionate yet balanced, ever-changing yet eternal. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you trying to control love, or are you letting it flow like the elements? Chapter 14, Arranged Love versus Romantic Love, a Cultural Perspective. Introduction, the Great Debate of Love. For centuries, love has been approached in two fundamentally different ways. Romantic love, the idea that love should be a personal choice, led by passion, chemistry, and deep emotional connection. Arranged love, the belief that love can be nurtured within a partnership chosen by family, tradition, or community, based on compatibility, values, and stability. Both forms of love have existed across civilizations, shaping human relationships in profound ways. Some argue that true love can only exist when two souls find each other naturally, while others believe that love is not just found, but built through commitment and understanding. In Aethria, this debate is seen as Vairashon versus Lutheria, meaning the love of the heart versus the love of the foundation. Aethrians believe that both paths have their strengths, and that love is not one size fits all. But which path leads to the strongest, longest lasting love? This chapter explores these perspectives through the parallel stories of Amara and Rayan, a couple who fell deeply in love by fate, and Neha and Arjun, a couple whose love was chosen for them. The story of Amara and Rayan, the fire of romantic love. Amara and Rayan met in a way that seemed destined, a chance encounter at a festival where one glance changed their lives forever. From that moment, they were inseparable, bound by passion, excitement, and an intense emotional connection. Their love was wild, untamed, and full of fire. They felt alive in each other's presence, as if the universe had written their story long before they were born. But over time, something changed. What had once been thrilling became unstable. Small misunderstandings turned into arguments, and expectations weighed heavy on their hearts. They had built their love on passion, but passion alone was not enough to hold them together. One evening, Amara asked, "If we love each other this much, why do we keep hurting?" Rayan sighed, "Because love is not just about feeling, it is about growing together, and we never learned how." Their love had been a fire without a foundation, and though it burned brightly, it was difficult to sustain. The story of Neha and Arjun, the slow bloom of arranged love. Neha and Arjun's love began in a very different way. They did not choose each other, their families did. Their marriage was arranged based on compatibility, tradition, and shared values. At first, they felt awkward, almost like strangers bound by duty. There was no passion, no dramatic declarations of love, just a quiet commitment to making it work. They learned about each other slowly. Arjun discovered that Neha loved poetry. Neha noticed that Arjun always brought her tea before she woke up. Their love did not begin with fireworks, but it grew day by day through patience and care. One evening, as they sat under the stars, Neha whispered, "I never thought I could love someone I didn't choose." Arjun smiled. "And yet," here we are. Their love was not a sudden fire. It was a steady flame, carefully built over time. Romantic love versus arranged love, a comparison. Both Amara and Rayan and Neha and Arjun experienced love in different ways. But which love is better? Arranged love starts with commitment, then grows. Stability, shared values, resilience, lack of initial chemistry, takes time to build. Can feel forced if love doesn't develop. Lasts when mutual respect and effort are strong. Key insight: romantic love often starts with passion and must be strengthened through commitment. Arranged love starts with commitment and must be nurtured into passion. Both can lead to deep, fulfilling relationships if handled with care. The science of love, what research says. Psychologists have studied the outcomes of romantic love versus arranged love, and the findings may surprise you. 1. Passionate love fades, but commitment sustains love. Studies show that the intense passion of romantic love often declines after 12 to 18 months, but couples who commit to growing together experience deeper love over time. 2. Arranged marriages often lead to greater long-term satisfaction. Research in India and other cultures where arranged marriages are common found that love in arranged marriages tends to grow over time, while love in romantic marriages can decline if not maintained. 3. Romantic love requires emotional intelligence to last. When couples in romantic love develop better communication, trust, and emotional maturity, their love can become just as enduring as arranged love. Conclusion from science. Love is not about how it starts, it is about how it is nurtured. The Aethrian connection, Vairashon versus Lutheria, the two pillars of love. In Aethria, love is seen as having two aspects. 1. Vairashon, love that is driven by passion, destiny, and deep emotional connection. 2. Lutheria, love that is built through trust, commitment, and shared purpose. Neither is superior. The strongest love is one that contains both. Aethrians believe that true love is when Vairashon and Lutheria merge, when passion is supported by commitment. Love is both a feeling and a choice. Love evolves over time, not just in the first moments of attraction. This is why in Aethria, lovers often take time to build their love, allowing it to balance emotion and devotion. Conclusion: which love is right for you? The debate between romantic love and arranged love is not about which is better, it is about which love we are willing to commit to nurturing. Romantic love needs structure. If you fall in love by passion, you must build trust, patience, and effort to make it last. Arranged love needs emotion. If you enter love through commitment, you must cultivate warmth, intimacy, and deep connection over time. The truth is, love is not found, it is created. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you willing to build the love you desire? Chapter 15. Forbidden Love. Love against society's norms. Introduction. When love defies the world. Some love stories are celebrated, blessed, and embraced by society. Others are met with resistance, punishment, or even tragedy. Throughout history, forbidden love has been a powerful force, challenging cultures, defying laws, and sometimes changing the course of history itself. Why is love feared when it crosses certain boundaries? Love between people of different castes, races, or religions has often been condemned. Love that challenges gender roles or expectations has been seen as rebellion. Love that goes against tradition or duty is often considered betrayal. Yet, despite opposition, forbidden love has always existed because love does not follow human rules. It follows something deeper, something timeless. In Aethria, this defiant love is known as Valmira, meaning the love that refuses to be caged. It is the love that fights for its right to exist, even when the world stands against it. This chapter explores forbidden love through three powerful stories, one from legend, one from history, and one from the modern world, each revealing the cost and courage of loving against society's will. The story of Layla and Majnun, the madness of love. In ancient Persia, there lived a poet named Cais, who fell deeply in love with Layla, a woman of noble birth. Their love was instant, intense, and undeniable. But her family forbade it. They believed Cais, though talented, was not worthy of Layla. To prevent scandal, they arranged for her to marry another man. Cais, heartbroken, wandered into the desert, writing poetry that would one day become legend. His sorrow consumed him. He became known as Majnun, meaning the mad one, because his love had driven him to madness. Layla, though married, never loved another. She died young, her heart still bound to Majnun. When he heard of her death, he collapsed at her grave and never rose again. Their story became a symbol of love that transcends life itself, a love so powerful that it defies even death. Lesson from Layla and Majnun. Forbidden love can be a love that is never fulfilled, yet it still holds immense power. Love that cannot exist in the world may still live forever in the soul. The story of Richard and Mildred Loving, the law could not stop love. In 1958, in the United States, Richard Loving, a white man, married Mildred Jeter, a black woman. At the time, interracial marriage was illegal in their home state of Virginia. They were arrested in the middle of the night and given a choice: go to prison, leave their home and never return. They chose exile, but they never gave up. For years, they fought against the law, believing that love should not be a crime. In 1967, their case, Loving v. Virginia, reached the U.S. Supreme Court. In a landmark decision, the court ruled that banning interracial marriage was unconstitutional. Because of their fight, millions of couples were freed from laws that once forbade their love. Lesson from Richard and Mildred. Forbidden love is not always tragic. Sometimes it changes the world. Love has the power to break barriers, rewrite laws, and reshape society. The story of Amir and Luca, love in the modern world. Amir grew up in a conservative Middle Eastern family where being gay was unthinkable. From a young age, he knew his love was forbidden, not by law, but by culture, family, and expectation. When he met Luca, an artist from Italy, he felt something he had never allowed himself to feel: freedom. Luca loved without fear, without hiding, without shame. But for Amir, love was dangerous. If his family found out, he could lose everything. One night, when a relative saw them together, the secret was exposed. Amir was forced to choose: stay with his family and deny his love, leave behind everything he had ever known for love. With tears in his eyes, he packed his bags and walked into the unknown, choosing love not just for Luca, but for himself. It was the hardest decision of his life. But in the years that followed, he learned that love, when real, is worth every sacrifice. Lesson from Amir and Luca. Forbidden love today is often not about laws, but about fear of rejection. Love sometimes requires the courage to be true to yourself, even when the cost is high. The psychology of forbidden love, why we desire what we cannot have. Psychologists have long studied why forbidden love is so intoxicating. Some key reasons include: 1. The Romeo and Juliet effect. When love is forbidden, it often becomes stronger because of the struggle. 2. The power of rebellion. Loving against the rules can feel like an act of defiance, independence, and personal freedom. 3. The illusion of perfection. When love is kept at a distance, we idealize it, seeing only its beauty, not its flaws. This is why some forbidden loves burn intensely but cannot last, while others grow strong enough to break the chains that bind them. The Aethrian connection, Belmira, the love that refuses to be caged. In Aethria, Belmira is the love that challenges norms, love that does not ask for permission, defies limits, love that refuses to be placed in a box, endures even when impossible, because love, once awakened, cannot be undone. Aethrians believe that every great change in history has been driven by forbidden love, love that dared to exist despite opposition. Conclusion: the power and price of forbidden love. Love that defies society is often the most powerful, painful, and transformative of all. Some forbidden loves end in tragedy. Some forbidden loves reshape history. Some forbidden loves set people free. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Would you choose love, even if the world told you not to? Chapter 16. Love in War and Conflict. Introduction. Can love survive war? War is the greatest destroyer of love. It tears lovers apart, turns families into refugees, and replaces warmth with fear. Yet, even in the darkest times, love refuses to die. History is filled with stories of love that bloomed in the shadow of war, defying hatred, distance, and even death itself. These are stories of sacrifice, resilience, and the human heart's refusal to surrender. In Aethria, this love is known as Veltherin, meaning the love that survives the storm. It is the love that holds on when everything else is falling apart. But how does love survive in the midst of war? Can love exist between enemies? And what happens when love is a battlefield of its own? This chapter explores these questions through 3 unforgettable stories, one from the ancient past, one from modern history, and one from today's world. The story of Hiroshi and Aiko, Love Amidst the Ruins. Hiroshi and Aiko were childhood sweethearts in Hiroshima. They grew up together, dreaming of a future filled with laughter, family, and peace. But war had other plans. Hiroshi was drafted into the army. Aiko remained in the city, waiting for him. They wrote letters, hundreds of them, holding on to love as war swallowed their world. Then, on August 6, 1945, everything changed. The atomic bomb fell on Hiroshima, reducing the city to ashes. Aiko was there when it happened. For days, Hiroshi believed she was gone. He searched the ruins, calling her name, his heart breaking with every step. But then, among the wounded survivors, he found her. She was burned, scarred, barely able to speak, but alive. For months, he nursed her back to health, knowing that the world they had known was gone forever. Yet in the midst of destruction, their love remained. They married the following year, not because life was easy, but because they knew love is the only thing that war cannot destroy.
Lesson from Hiroshi and Aiko.
Love is not about perfect circumstances. It is about choosing to stay when everything else is lost. Even in the face of death, love can be the reason to keep going. The story of Liesel and Wilhelm, love across enemy lines. Liesel was a German nurse. Wilhelm was a wounded Jewish resistance fighter. In another world, they would have been just 2 people falling in love. But in Nazi-occupied Poland, their love was a crime punishable by death. Liesel was assigned to care for wounded prisoners. When she met Wilhelm, she saw not an enemy, but a man who had suffered beyond words. As she bandaged his wounds, she felt something dangerous: compassion, connection, love. Wilhelm, weak but defiant, told her, "You are risking your life for me." She whispered, "I know." Each night she smuggled him food, whispered stories of life before the war, and reminded him that love still existed in a world that had forgotten it. When the Nazis discovered her secret, she was given one choice: betray him or die with him. She refused to betray him. They were executed together. Years later, a survivor from the camp spoke of them. In a place of darkness, they showed us that love was still possible. Lesson from Liesel and Wilhelm. Love does not recognize nations, races, or sides. It sees only souls. Some loves do not last in time, but they last forever in memory. The story of Layla and Omar, a love that escaped the war. Layla and Omar were engaged when the war in Syria erupted. Their love was simple: sunsets on rooftops, stolen laughter in crowded markets, whispered promises of a future together. Then the bombs came. Their families fled in different directions. Omar was sent to a refugee camp in Turkey. Layla, lost in the chaos, was left behind. For months, he believed she was dead. But love is not so easily silenced. Through messages smuggled by strangers, through desperate phone calls across borders, Omar searched for her. 1 year later, he found her in a refugee camp, malnourished but alive. With nothing but their love and determination, they crossed 6 countries, walked through deserts, and braved the sea in a small, fragile boat to reach safety. When they finally stepped onto European soil, they had no money, no home, only each other. They married the next day. Lesson from Layla and Omar. Love is sometimes the only thing worth fighting for when everything else is gone. Some loves are not meant to stay in one place. They must journey together through the storms. Why love in war is so powerful. Psychologists and historians have studied why love in times of war feels more intense and unforgettable. Some key reasons. 1. War makes every moment more precious. Oh, when death is near, love feels urgent, raw, and immediate. Every kiss, every touch, every word is felt deeply because it could be the last. 2. Love gives people a reason to survive. Studies on survivors of war show that those who had love to hold on to were far more likely to survive. Even when everything else was lost, love became the reason to keep going. 3. Love becomes a rebellion against destruction. War seeks to divide, to dehumanize, to destroy. Love, when it exists in war, defies the very purpose of war. It says, we are still human. The Aethrian connection. Veltherin, the love that survives the storm. In Aethria, the strongest love is not the love that never faces hardship. It is the love that endures no matter what comes. Veltherin is the love that holds on when the world is against it. The love that chooses to stay even in the darkest times. The love that survives war, distance, pain, and even death. Aethrians believe that true love is tested in the storm, and that only the deepest love survives. Conclusion: the love that cannot be destroyed. War destroys nations. War destroys cities. War destroys lives. But war cannot destroy love, because love is the last thing left when everything else is gone. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. If love was all you had left, would it be enough? Chapter 17, Digital Love, the Rise of Virtual Romance. Introduction. Can love exist through screens? Once, love was written in letters, whispered in moonlit gardens, or sealed with a touch. Today, love is sent through pixels, texts, and video calls. Some say that love in the digital age is shallow, just a collection of emojis, short-lived swipes, and distant conversations. Others believe that virtual connections can be as deep, real, and meaningful as physical ones. In Aethria, this kind of love is known as Aethria, meaning the love that travels without touch. It is the love that exists in words, energy, and unseen connections. A love that defies physical limitations. But can digital love be real? Can a heart truly belong to someone it has never touched? This chapter explores love in the age of technology through 3 stories, each revealing a different side of modern romance in a world without borders. The story of Elena and Raphael, love without a first touch. Elena lived in Spain. Raphael lived in Argentina. They met in an online writing forum, exchanging words before they ever saw each other's faces. At first, it was just friendship, long emails, late-night chats, shared poetry. But over time, something changed. They began waiting for each other's messages, feeling the absence when days passed without a reply. One evening, Raphael typed the words that changed everything. "I think I love you, but how can I love someone I've never met?" Elena's heart raced. Could it be real? Could love exist through words alone? For 2 years, they built their love without ever touching, learning each other's fears, dreams, and souls. Finally, they decided to meet. When Raphael stepped off the plane in Madrid, they stood face to face for the first time, two lovers who had already fallen for each other in a world of words. They married a year later. Lesson from Elena and Raphael. Love is not about distance, it is about connection. Two hearts can belong to each other before their hands ever touch. The story of Kian and Naomi, the illusion of the perfect partner. Kian had never been in love until he met Naomi on a dating app. She was everything he had ever dreamed of, beautiful, intelligent, kind. Their conversations flowed effortlessly, their humor aligned perfectly. They spoke for months, exchanging secrets, dreams, even "I love yous." But every time Kian suggested meeting in person, Naomi had an excuse. One day, she disappeared. No messages, no calls, nothing. Kian was devastated. Had it all been real? Or was he in love with someone who never truly existed? Weeks later, he learned the truth. Naomi had created a false identity. The photos, the stories, the emotions were real. But she was not the person she claimed to be. Kian had fallen in love with an illusion. Lesson from Kian and Naomi. Digital love can be powerful, but it can also be deceptive. In a world of screens, we must ask, are we loving the person or the idea of them? The story of Ava and Iris, love beyond physical boundaries. Ava and Iris were from different worlds, literally. Ava was from California, Iris from Tokyo. They met in a virtual reality world where they first spoke as digital avatars. It started as friendship, playing games, sharing experiences, building a world together. But somewhere between late-night VR walks on digital beaches and whispered confessions over headsets, something happened. Ava found herself waiting for Iris. She missed her when she wasn't online. She felt her presence, even in a world that didn't physically exist. One night, under a virtual moon, Iris asked, "Does it matter that we've never met?" Ava thought for a moment, then she whispered, "No, I know you, I feel you. That's enough." For years, their love remained purely digital until the day they finally met in real life, and nothing changed. They were already in love. The physical world was just another place for their souls to exist together. Lesson from Ava and Iris. Love does not require physical space. It can exist in energy, presence, and emotion. Virtual love is not fake if the emotions are real. The science of digital love. Is it real? Psychologists and neuroscientists have studied how love forms in digital spaces, and their findings are fascinating. 1. The brain does not distinguish between digital and physical love. When we form emotional bonds online, our brains light up in the same way as physical relationships. The emotions are real, even if the interactions happen through screens. 2. Words can be more powerful than physical presence. Studies show that deep emotional intimacy can form through written messages, often stronger than in-person attraction. Digital love allows for a deeper mental and emotional connection before physical attraction takes over. 3. The risk of idealized love is higher online. When we only see someone's best version, we can fall in love with a fantasy rather than a real person. This is why some digital loves thrive, while others fall apart when reality arrives. The Aethrian connection is Aethria, the love that travels without touch. In Aethria, Aethria is the belief that love does not need physical form to be real. Love exists in the unseen connection between two souls, the words that carry emotions across distance, the presence of another, even when their body is far away. Aethrians believe that love is not where you are, it is where your heart is drawn. Conclusion: the future of love in a digital world. Love has always adapted to time, technology, and distance. Some say digital love is not real. But was love real when written in letters centuries ago? Is love real when two souls connect before their bodies do? Is love measured by presence or by feeling? The truth is, love is evolving. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Would you trust love, even if you have never touched it? Chapter 18, Love Beyond Borders, Intercultural Love Stories. Introduction. When love crosses cultures. Love knows no borders, no languages, no traditions. Yet, when two people from different cultures fall in love, they often face challenges that love alone cannot always solve. Intercultural love is a dance of differences, where two worlds must learn to blend without losing their essence. Some couples thrive, creating a fusion of traditions, languages, and beliefs. Others struggle against the weight of family expectations, societal pressures, and misunderstandings. In Aethria, this kind of love is called Velshinira, meaning the love that builds a bridge between worlds. It is the love that does not erase differences but embraces them, learning, growing, and transforming through the beauty of two souls uniting beyond boundaries. But can love truly overcome cultural barriers? Can two different worlds become one? This chapter explores these questions through three powerful real-life stories, one from history, one from legend, and one from today's world, each revealing the joys and trials of love beyond borders. The story of Pocahontas and John Rolfe, a love that bridged nations. Pocahontas, a Native American princess of the Powhatan tribe, was never meant to fall in love with an English settler. John Rolfe was an Englishman who had come to the New World in search of opportunity, not love. But when their paths crossed, something changed. Their love was forbidden. They were from different worlds, different languages, different beliefs. Yet Pocahontas saw in John not an invader, but a man with whom she could build peace. Against all odds, they married, the first recorded interracial marriage in American history. Their love became a symbol of unity between cultures, a rare bridge in a time of war and distrust. But love alone could not erase the conflicts between their people. Pocahontas was taken to England, celebrated as an exotic princess, but far from her homeland. She fell ill and died young. John never remarried. Though their love was short-lived, it changed history, proving that even in a world divided by race and war, love could build something new. Lesson from Pocahontas and John Rolfe. Intercultural love can unite, but it also carries deep challenges. Love must be strong enough to withstand the pressures of two worlds. The story of Salim and Anarkali, a love that defied an empire. Prince Salim, the future emperor of Mughal India, had everything: power, wealth, and a kingdom at his feet. Anarkali was a mere dancer, born into a world far beneath him. Yet when Salim saw her dance for the first time, his heart chose love over duty. Anarkali was intelligent, beautiful, and full of grace, but she was not royal, and for the Mughal Empire, this was unacceptable. His father, Emperor Akbar, forbade their love, but Salim refused to obey. Legends say that the emperor had Anarkali buried alive to erase their love from history. Some believe she escaped. Others say she still lies beneath the walls of Lahore. Salim became Emperor Jahangir, but he never loved another the way he loved Anarkali. He built the tomb of Anarkali, a silent tribute to the woman he could not save. Lesson from Salim and Anarkali: love cannot always defeat cultural and societal restrictions. Some loves are meant to exist in history, not in life. The story of Sophia and Amir, a modern love that had to fight for acceptance. Sophia was from Italy. Amir was from Pakistan. They met in university, their love born in shared books, coffee shop conversations, and long walks under city lights. But their families did not approve. Sophia's parents worried, "How will you understand each other's traditions?" Amir's family warned, "She is not like us. She will never truly belong." For years they struggled, not against their love, but against the expectations placed upon them. Would they follow their hearts or their family's wishes? Love is not always easy, but it is a choice, and they chose each other. Today, they are married, raising a child who speaks both Italian and Urdu, who celebrates both Eid and Christmas, who carries the stories of two cultures woven into one soul. They proved that love beyond borders is not about losing identity. It is about expanding it. Lesson from Sophia and Amir. Intercultural love requires patience, understanding, and strength. Love is not about choosing one culture over another. It is about creating something new together. The challenges of intercultural love. Can love overcome all? Intercultural relationships are beautiful, but they come with unique struggles. 1. Family expectations. Many cultures have deep traditions surrounding marriage, making it difficult for families to accept outsiders. 2. Religious and cultural differences. Practices, holidays, and beliefs can create conflicts if not respected and understood. 3. Language barriers. Words shape love, and when two lovers speak different languages, misunderstandings can arise. 4. Where to live. Choosing whose country to settle in can be a difficult decision. Yet despite these challenges, intercultural love is growing. Studies show that interracial and intercultural marriages are increasing worldwide. Children from multicultural families tend to be more adaptable, multilingual, and open-minded. This proves that love is expanding beyond borders, weaving a future where differences are celebrated, not feared. The Aethrian connection. Velshanira, the love that builds a bridge. In Aethria, Velshanira is the belief that love is a journey of learning where two people teach each other new ways of seeing the world. A balance of giving and receiving where neither person loses themselves, but both grow. A sacred act of unity, where love is not about erasing cultures, but honoring them. Aethrians believe that the strongest love is one that is tested by differences, because in overcoming them, love proves its true depth. Conclusion: love as the ultimate language. Love beyond borders is not about one culture winning over another. It is about two souls creating something greater than themselves. Some intercultural loves reshape history. Some are broken by the weight of tradition. Some become the foundation for a new generation, one that sees love, not borders. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Would you fight for love, even if it meant crossing worlds? Chapter 19, The Science of Soulmates. Are we meant for one person? Introduction. The myth and reality of soulmates. From ancient myths to modern romance films, we have been told that somewhere in the world there exists one perfect person destined just for us, our soulmate. But is this a beautiful truth or an illusion? Some believe that soulmates are written in the stars, a bond so deep that no force can break it. Others argue that love is not destiny but choice, that we create meaningful relationships through commitment, not fate. In Aethria, the concept of soulmates is called Aethrian Vera, meaning the soul that mirrors your own. Aethrians believe that soulmates do exist, but they are not always romantic, nor are they always meant to stay forever. But what does science say? Is there evidence that certain people are meant to be together? This chapter explores the science, spirituality, and psychology of soulmates through three perspectives: mythology and religion, what ancient traditions tell us about soulmates; psychology and neuroscience, what happens in the brain when we meet the one; the reality of love, are we truly meant for just one person? Soulmates in myth and religion, a love that was divided. Many cultures have believed in the idea of two souls destined to find each other. The Greek myth, the missing half. Plato's Symposium tells the story of how humans were once whole beings with two faces, 4 arms, and 4 legs. But the gods, fearing their power, split them into halves, separating them across the world. Since then, each soul has longed for its other half, searching endlessly until they are reunited. The Hindu concept, Ardhanarishvara, the divine union. In Hinduism, Shiva and Parvati are seen as one being, Ardhanarishvara, the perfect balance of masculine and feminine energy. This symbolizes that true love is not about finding another person, but finding unity within oneself. The Kabbalistic belief, zivug, the predestined partner. Jewish mysticism teaches that souls are created in pairs before birth. This is called zivug, the idea that each person has a divine counterpart waiting for them. Across cultures, the idea remains the same: we are incomplete until we find the one. But is this a mystical truth or just a story? The science of soulmates. Is love written in our brains? Modern science has tried to answer the soulmate question through psychology and neuroscience. 1. Do we have just one perfect match? Research suggests that we are not meant for only one person. Thousands of people could be compatible with us based on personality, values, and chemistry. Love is not about finding the one. It is about choosing someone and growing together. 2. What happens in the brain when we fall in love? Studies using fMRI brain scans show that when we fall in love, the dopamine system is activated. The oxytocin hormone is released, making us feel attached. The prefrontal cortex actually shuts down, which is why love often feels like destiny our brain makes us believe it is. 3. Why do some people feel like soulmates? Psychologists suggest that soulmates feel special because of deep emotional and psychological connections. Attachment theory, we subconsciously seek partners who fulfill our deepest emotional needs. Mirror neurons, when we deeply connect with someone, our brain mirrors their emotions, making us feel completely in sync. Shared experiences, the more we share meaningful experiences, the stronger our bond becomes, making love feel fated. So, while science does not prove one destined soulmate, it does show that deep love creates the illusion of fate. The reality of love, are we meant for just one person? If we only had one soulmate, then what happens to those who lose their partners? Why do some people find deep love more than once? Why do arranged marriages, where people are not destined, often result in lifelong love? The truth is, 1. We can have more than one deep connection. Love is not about finding just one person. It is about being open to love wherever it appears. 2. Soulmates are not always romantic. Oh, a soulmate can be a best friend, a teacher, or even a stranger who changes your life forever. 3. Love is not just destiny, but effort. Oh, soulmates do not just happen. They are built through time, trust, and shared experience. The Aethrian connection, Aethrian Vera, the mirror of the soul. In Aethria, Aethrian Vera is the belief that soulmates exist, but they are not always permanent. Some soulmates are meant to stay forever. Others are meant to teach us something and then leave. The greatest soulmate we will ever find is ourselves. Aethrians believe that love is not about waiting for fate. It is about becoming the kind of person who attracts deep, meaningful connections. Conclusion: the truth about soulmates. Do soulmates exist? Yes, but not in the way we think. Love is not about finding one perfect person. Love is about choosing someone every day and making them the one. Some soulmates stay forever. Others arrive only to teach us lessons. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you searching for a soulmate, or are you creating a love that lasts? Chapter 20. Love and Destiny. Do the stars decide our love? Introduction. Is love written in the stars? Since the dawn of civilization, humans have looked to the stars to understand their fate, including their love lives. Astrology suggests that our birth charts can reveal who we are destined to love, how we express affection, and what kind of partner will fulfill us. But is this true? Can zodiac signs predict who we will fall in love with? Do planetary positions shape our romantic destiny? Or is love a choice, independent of cosmic influence? In Aethria, the belief in celestial love is called Aethrian Love, meaning the alignment of souls through the dance of the cosmos. Aethrians do not see astrology as fixed fate, but as a guide to understanding energies, patterns, and connections. But what does science say? Are the stars really in control of our hearts? This chapter explores the ancient wisdom, modern psychology, and Aethrian insights into the connection between love and destiny. The astrological perspective, love in the zodiac. Astrology suggests that our personalities, emotions, and love styles are influenced by the positions of the planets at the time of our birth. Each person's sun sign, moon sign, and Venus sign play a role in how they give and receive love. 1. Sun signs, the core of who we are. Your sun sign represents your ego, identity, and basic nature in love. 2. Moon signs, the emotional heart. The moon sign represents our deepest emotional needs in love. A Cancer moon needs security and care. A Sagittarius moon seeks freedom and adventure. A Scorpio moon craves intense emotional depth. 3. Venus signs, the way we express love. The planet Venus rules love, romance, and attraction. Venus in Taurus loves deeply and steadily. Venus in Libra is charming and seeks harmony. Venus in Aries falls fast and loves fiercely. These placements shape how we connect, attract, and bond with others. Fated love, the myth of zodiac compatibility. Many people believe that certain zodiac signs are naturally compatible, but is this true? For example, Leo and Sagittarius, a passionate fire match. Taurus and Capricorn, a grounded, practical love. Gemini and Aquarius, a fun, intellectual connection. However, studies show that zodiac sign compatibility is not scientifically proven. Love is not just about signs, it's about values, upbringing, emotional intelligence, and effort. Many incompatible couples have lifelong love because they understand and grow together. Love is not written in the stars. It is written in the choices we make. The science of love and destiny. Do we attract certain people? Psychologists and neuroscientists have studied why we fall for certain types of people, and their findings suggest that 1. We are drawn to what feels familiar. We unconsciously seek partners who reflect qualities of our early caregivers. 2. Love is shaped by our subconscious mind. Our past experiences create patterns of attraction that make us fall for certain personalities. 3. The law of attraction. Do we manifest love? Studies suggest that our thoughts and beliefs about love influence who we attract, meaning that love is more about energy than fate. This aligns with Aethrian beliefs that love is not about finding the one, but about aligning ourselves with the love we are ready for. The Aethrian connection, Aethrian Love, the dance of celestial love. In Aethria, love is believed to be influenced by cosmic energy, but not controlled by it. Aethrian Love teaches that the stars offer guidance, not absolute fate. Every love connection is a lesson, not just a destiny. We attract the love we are prepared for, whether in alignment with the stars or not. Aethrians believe that love is like the orbits of planets. Some move together in harmony, while others cross paths briefly before moving apart. Conclusion: is love destiny or choice? So, do the stars decide who we love? The truth is, astrology can reveal patterns, but love is not predetermined. We are not born with one perfect match. We create love through effort, growth, and connection. The strongest love is not fated, it is built. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you waiting for love to find you, or are you creating a love worth finding? Chapter 21, Twin Flames and Karmic Love, the Spiritual Side of Romance. Introduction. Love that transcends lifetimes. Some connections feel ordinary, while others feel otherworldly, as if they existed before time itself. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant deep connection, as if you already knew them? Have you ever loved someone who challenged and transformed you, even if the relationship was difficult? Have you ever wondered if some loves are meant to return, lifetime after lifetime? Many spiritual traditions speak of twin flames, karmic partners, and past life love, suggesting that certain souls are destined to reunite, not just in one lifetime, but across eternity. In Aethria, this form of love is called Aethrianis, meaning the souls that recognize each other beyond time. Aethrians believe that some connections are not accidental. They are part of a larger cosmic journey. But what is the truth? Are these concepts real, or are they just spiritual myths? This chapter explores the sacred, mysterious, and often painful nature of twin flames, karmic love, and soul reunions through spiritual teachings, real-life experiences, and Aethrian wisdom. Twin flames, the other half of your soul? The twin flame theory. According to many spiritual traditions, a twin flame is not just a soulmate, it is the other half of your soul. The theory suggests that, in the beginning, each soul was whole. Over lifetimes, the soul was split into two halves, sent on separate journeys to learn and evolve. Twin flames reunite when they are ready, creating a powerful, life-altering love. But twin flame love is not always easy. It is often intense, challenging, and full of emotional triggers. It is said that twin flames meet to awaken each other, forcing deep transformation and growth. Signs you've met your twin flame. Instant recognition, a feeling of, I've known you before. Magnetic pull, no matter what happens, you feel drawn back to them. Deep emotional triggers, they bring out your wounds, fears, and insecurities to help you heal. Separation and reunion cycles, most twin flame relationships experience a runner and chaser phase, where one person pulls away while the other tries to hold on. But here's the painful truth. Not all twin flames are meant to be together in this lifetime. The purpose of a twin flame connection is spiritual awakening, not necessarily romance. A twin flame story, Lyra and Orion. Lyra and Orion met in a dream before they met in real life. When they finally crossed paths, it was as if they had always known each other. Their love was intense, overwhelming, and impossible to ignore. But the deeper they loved, the more they triggered each other's wounds. Lyra feared abandonment. Orion feared commitment. No matter how much they loved, they kept hurting each other. They broke up, reunited, broke up again, until they finally realized the truth. We were not meant to complete each other. We were meant to complete ourselves. Only then, after healing, did they find peace, together or apart. Lesson from twin flames. Twin flames are not always meant to be romantic. They come into our lives to help us heal and evolve. Not all deep connections are meant to last. Some are meant to teach us something, then leave. A karmic relationship is one that feels destined, but is often full of pain, drama, and emotional intensity. Signs of a karmic relationship: a strong attraction, but a lot of conflict. A cycle of repeating patterns. feeling emotionally exhausted instead of fulfilled, learning painful but necessary life lessons. Karmic love is like fire. It burns brightly, but it is not meant to last. These relationships exist to break old patterns, heal wounds, and prepare us for true love. A karmic love story, Mira and Dev. Mira and Dev had an instant connection, the kind that makes the world disappear. But their relationship was a storm. One moment, they were inseparable. The next, they were screaming at each other. They kept trying to make it work, believing that love should conquer all. But love is not meant to destroy you. One day, Mira realized, we are not soulmates. We are mirrors, showing each other what needs to be healed. She walked away, finally free. Years later, she met someone who loved her without the chaos. And she understood Dev was not her forever love. He was the lesson that led her to it. Lesson from karmic love. Not all love is meant to last. Some love is meant to teach. If love feels like suffering, it is not true love, it is a lesson. Soulmate love, the love that feels like home. Unlike twin flames and karmic partners, soulmates are those we feel deeply connected to in a peaceful, balanced way. Soulmate connections can be romantic partners, a deep, effortless love. Friendships, some soulmates are lifelong friends who understand us on a soul level. Family bonds, a sibling, parent, or child can be a soulmate from past lives. Signs of a true soulmate. Feels natural and peaceful, not chaotic. You grow together instead of triggering pain. You feel accepted for who you truly are. Unlike twin flames, a soulmate relationship is not about intense lessons. It is about love that feels like home. The Aethrian connection, Aethrianus, the souls that recognize each other. Aethrians believe that. Some souls travel together across lifetimes to teach, love, and heal. Some loves are meant to be temporary, while others are eternal. The most important love is self-love, because until we heal, we will keep attracting the same patterns. Conclusion. What kind of love are you experiencing? If your love is intense and transformative, but difficult, it may be a twin flame. If your love is full of drama and lessons, it may be karmic. If your love is peaceful, deep, and effortless, it may be a true soulmate. But remember, twin flames and karmic loves exist to help us grow, not always to stay. A soulmate is not just someone we find, it is someone we create love with. The greatest soulmate we will ever meet is ourselves. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you chasing a soulmate, or are you becoming the love you seek? Chapter 22, The Power of Self-Love, the Foundation of All Love. Introduction. Can we truly love others without loving ourselves? Love is often thought of as something we give to others, a connection we share, a bond that completes us. But what if the most important love is the one we have for ourselves? Many people search for love outside themselves, believing that a relationship will make them feel whole. A soulmate will heal their wounds. Love from another person will bring them happiness. Yet over and over, they find themselves disappointed, heartbroken, or unfulfilled. Why? Because the love we seek from others is often the love we must first give to ourselves. In Aethria, this form of love is called velashira, meaning the love that begins within and flows outward. Aethrians believe that self-love is not selfish. It is the foundation of all love. But how do we truly love ourselves? And how does self-love transform our relationships with others? This chapter explores why self-love is the key to healthy relationships, happiness, and emotional freedom, and how it shapes the love we receive from the world. The illusion of finding love to feel complete. The story of Aethrian, the man who searched for love everywhere but found it within. Aethrian had spent his life searching for love. Every relationship began beautifully, passionate, exciting, full of promises. But over time, the same patterns repeated. He became clingy, afraid of losing his partner. He felt jealous, insecure, never truly at peace. He sought constant reassurance that he was loved. And when the relationships ended, he felt empty, lost, and broken. One day, an elder told him, "You keep searching for love outside of you, but the love you need is already within you." Aethrian didn't understand until he finally spent time alone, learning to love himself. For the first time, he realized he did not need someone else to make him feel worthy. He could be happy on his own. Love should add to his life, not complete it. When he finally found love again, it was different because he no longer needed love. He simply chose to share it. Lesson from Aethrian: if we rely on others to feel loved, we will always feel incomplete. True love is not about finding someone to fill our emptiness. It is about sharing our wholeness. The psychology of self-love. Why it changes everything. Psychologists have studied the link between self-love and relationships, and the findings are clear. 1. Self-love determines the love we accept. People with low self-worth accept unhealthy relationships because they don't believe they deserve better. People with high self-worth set boundaries and attract healthier love. 2. We teach others how to treat us. If we treat ourselves with kindness and respect, others do the same. If we neglect or criticize ourselves, we invite relationships that reflect this. 3. Self-love leads to emotional independence. When we love ourselves, we no longer depend on others for happiness. Love becomes a choice, not a need. The myths of self-love, what it is. Many people misunderstand self-love, thinking it means being selfish, ignoring others, thinking you are better than others. But true self-love is about respecting yourself and setting boundaries, taking care of your emotional, mental, and physical well-being, knowing your worth, even when no one else does. Self-love versus narcissism. Self-love is about balance, inner peace, and kindness toward yourself and others. Narcissism is about seeking validation, control, and putting oneself above others. Self-love makes love stronger. It does not take away from it. The Aethrian connection, Velashira, love that flows from within Aethrians, believe that we can only love others as deeply as we love ourselves. Velashira teaches that love is not something to search for. It is something to cultivate within. The more love we have for ourselves, the more love we radiate outward. Love should come from abundance, not from lack. Aethrians practice self-love by daily rituals of self-care, speaking kindly to themselves, honoring their own emotions, needs, and dreams. Because when we love ourselves, love flows effortlessly into every relationship. How to cultivate self-love, practical steps. Loving yourself is not just a feeling, it is a practice. Here are ways to build self-love every day. 1. Speak to yourself like someone you love. Replace self-criticism with self-kindness. Example, instead of, "I'm not good enough," say, "I am doing my best, and that is enough." 2. Set healthy boundaries. Do not allow others to disrespect, manipulate, or drain you. Love should never come at the cost of your own well-being. 3. Give yourself the love you want from others. If you crave romance, treat yourself with love and care. If you want kindness, be kind to yourself first. 4. Spend time alone without feeling lonely. Being alone is not emptiness, it is self-discovery. The more comfortable you are with yourself, the more fulfilling your relationships will be. 5. Forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. Love yourself despite them. Self-forgiveness is the highest form of self-love. Conclusion. Self-love is the first love. We spend so much time searching for the perfect relationship, but the most important relationship we will ever have is the one with ourselves. Because when we truly love ourselves, we stop settling for less than we deserve. We attract love that reflects our worth. We give love without fear, because we know we are already enough. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you waiting for someone to love you, or are you becoming the love you seek? Chapter 23, Love and Healing. Can love heal emotional wounds? Introduction, the healing power of love. Pain, heartbreak, and trauma can leave deep wounds on the heart. Many people wonder, can love heal the scars of the past? Can the right relationship erase pain, loneliness, or fear? Or is healing something we must do on our own before we can truly love again? Love has long been associated with healing, both in spiritual traditions and modern psychology. Some believe that love can mend even the deepest wounds, while others argue that true healing must come from within, not from another person. In Aethria, this sacred form of love is called veltheralis, meaning the love that restores the soul. Aethrians believe that love is a powerful medicine, but only when it is given with purity and received with openness. This chapter explores how love, both self-love and love from others, can heal past wounds and the difference between healthy healing love and love that becomes a crutch. The two types of healing through love. There are two ways love can bring healing. 1. Healing through self-love. This is when we heal ourselves first, without relying on another person. It means facing our wounds, processing pain, and learning to love ourselves fully. 2. Healing through relationships. This is when a healthy, loving relationship helps us overcome past wounds. It means experiencing trust, care, and emotional safety, which allows healing to happen naturally. The key is balance. Love can help heal, but it cannot be a substitute for inner healing. The story of Maya, healing through self-love. Maya had always searched for love, believing that it would erase the pain of her past. As a child, she never felt truly seen. As an adult, she entered relationships hoping to feel whole, but every time she was left feeling emptier than before. One day, after yet another heartbreak, she asked herself, "Why do I keep searching for someone to heal me when the healing must come from me?" So she stopped searching. She faced her past instead of running from it. She learned to be kind to herself instead of waiting for someone else to be kind to her. She realized that love is not something to chase, it is something to create from within. By the time she met someone who truly loved her, she was already whole. She didn't need them to heal her because she had already healed herself. Lesson from Maya. Love from others can support healing, but it cannot replace self-healing. The love we accept from the world is a reflection of the love we give ourselves. The story of Elias and Leora, healing through a loving relationship. Elias had learned to never show weakness. Growing up in a harsh environment, he had trained himself to be strong, silent, and distant. When he met Leora, he kept his guard up. He believed that love was a weakness, that if he let someone in, he would get hurt. But Leora was different. She did not try to fix him. She did not rush him to heal. She simply loved him without conditions. For the first time, Elias felt safe enough to open up, and in that safety, healing began. He realized that love did not make him weak, it gave him strength. Lesson from Elias and Leora. Love cannot heal someone who is not ready to heal, but love can create a space where healing becomes possible. The psychology of healing through love. Modern psychology supports the idea that love can help with healing, but only in the right conditions. How love can heal emotional wounds. 1. Emotional safety love provides a secure space where we feel accepted. 2. Positive reprogramming. Experiencing healthy love can replace negative past patterns. 3. Support and connection. Love offers reducing feelings of isolation when love cannot heal. If we depend on love to fix us, we create unhealthy relationships. If we have unhealed trauma, we might attract partners who reflect our wounds instead of healing them. Healing must be a personal journey first. Love can help, but it cannot do the work for us. The Aethrian connection, Valtheralis, love as a restorative force. In Aethria, love is not seen as a cure, but as a mirror. Valtheralis teaches that love reveals the wounds we must heal. True healing begins when we stop seeking love to fix us and start using love to grow. Love is not just romantic, it is the love of friends, family, and even strangers that helps us heal. Aethrians believe that the greatest healing comes not from being loved, but from learning to love ourselves and others. How to use love for healing. 1. Heal yourself first. Love should support healing, not be the reason for it. Work on self-awareness, therapy, or meditation before seeking love to fix emotional pain. 2. Find love that feels safe. Choose relationships that nurture and uplift you, not ones that trigger past wounds. Love should feel like home, not a battlefield. 3. Learn to give love freely. Love does not only come from romantic partners. The more love we give to friends, family, and even ourselves, the more healing we receive. 4. Let go of the idea that love erases the past. The past may always be a part of us, but love helps us create a future that is bigger than our pain. Conclusion: love is medicine, not a cure. Love can heal, but it is not a magic fix. If we depend on love to fix us, we will always feel incomplete. If we love ourselves first, love from others becomes a gift, not a necessity. True love does not erase wounds. It teaches us that we are more than our pain. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you seeking love to heal you, or are you healing so you can truly love? Chapter 24. Love and Forgiveness, the Power of Letting Go. Introduction. Can love survive without forgiveness? Every relationship, no matter how strong, faces pain. Someone forgets a promise. Someone says words that cannot be taken back. Someone betrays trust. In those moments, love stands at a crossroads. Hold on to the pain or choose to forgive. Some believe that forgiveness is essential to love, that love cannot last without it. Others argue that some wounds cannot be healed, and that walking away is sometimes necessary. In Aethria, forgiveness and love is called Velshanari, meaning the love that releases burdens. Aethrians believe that forgiveness is not about forgetting, it is about freeing the heart from the chains of the past. But what does it truly mean to forgive and love? Does forgiveness mean accepting everything? Can love survive betrayal? And how do we forgive, even when it feels impossible? This chapter explores the power, limits, and purpose of forgiveness and love, using spiritual wisdom, psychology, and real-life stories. The two types of forgiveness in love. 1. Forgiving and staying. Oh, when love is worth healing, forgiveness allows relationships to move forward with trust and understanding. 2. Forgiving and letting go. Sometimes forgiveness is about finding peace within ourselves, even when the relationship cannot continue. Forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation. It means choosing peace over pain. The story of Leora and Darius, the forgiveness that saved love. Leora and Darius had been together for years, deeply in love. But one night, Darius made a mistake. Not one that broke the relationship, but one that broke Leora's trust. She felt hurt, betrayed, unsure if she could ever trust him again. Darius apologized, but words were not enough. For months, Leora held on to the pain, replaying the moment over and over. One day her mentor told her, "Holding on to pain does not protect you. It only keeps the wound open." She realized that she had a choice: stay angry and let the relationship die, or forgive and allow love to heal. So she forgave, not instantly, not easily, but through time, honesty, and commitment to rebuilding trust. And love survived. Lesson from Leora and Darius. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it allows love to have a future. Trust, once broken, can be rebuilt, but only if both partners are willing. The story of Camille and Ezra, the forgiveness that set her free. Camille loved Ezra deeply, but Ezra was not ready for love. He was inconsistent, distant, and unable to commit. She gave him chance after chance, believing he would change, but every time he let her down. Finally, she realized love should not feel like begging. She knew she had to let go, but letting go did not mean hating him, resenting him, or carrying pain. One day, she wrote a letter, not for him, but for herself. "I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace." And in that moment, she set herself free. Lesson from Camille and Ezra. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for yourself. Some love is meant to be released, not repaired. The psychology of forgiveness, why it heals. Studies on forgiveness and relationships show that 1. Forgiveness lowers stress and anxiety. Holding on to resentment creates emotional pain and stress. 2. Forgiveness increases relationship longevity. Couples who forgive and communicate are more likely to stay together long term. 3. Forgiveness does not mean accepting toxic behavior. Healthy forgiveness includes setting boundaries and knowing when to walk away. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of emotional strength. The Aethrian connection, Velshinari, releasing the burden of pain in Aethria. Love is not just about passion. It is about lightness. Velshinari teaches that love should not feel like carrying a heavy burden. Love must have space to breathe, heal, and renew itself. Forgiveness is not about ignoring the past. It is about choosing what is worth carrying forward. Aethrians practice forgiveness through letting go of resentment before it poisons love, choosing inner peace over holding on to pain. Because true love does not hold on to wounds, it transforms them into wisdom. How to forgive and love. Forgiveness is a choice and a process. Here's how to begin. 1. Ask yourself, is this love worth saving? If the relationship is healthy but hurt, it may be worth repairing. If the relationship is toxic or one-sided, forgiveness may mean letting go. 2. Communicate honestly. Express how you feel without blame or anger. Listen to the other person's truth. 3. Release the need for revenge or punishment. Holding on to pain does not heal it. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It means releasing the grip pain has on you. 4. Decide whether to stay or move on. Forgiveness is not a free pass for repeated hurt. Choose what serves your heart and well-being. Conclusion. Love that lets go of pain. Love and pain often go together, but love should not be suffering. Forgiveness allows love to heal. Forgiveness is freedom, whether we stay or leave. True love is not about holding on to wounds, it is about releasing them. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you holding on to pain, or are you choosing to set yourself free? Chapter 25. Love and Sacrifice. How much should we give? Introduction. Is love without sacrifice possible? Love is often described as selfless, giving, and unconditional. But does love require sacrifice? Should we give everything for love? When does sacrifice become unhealthy? How do we balance love for another with love for ourselves? Throughout history, sacrifice has been seen as the highest expression of love. Myths, legends, and real-life stories tell of lovers giving up everything, their dreams, their freedom, even their lives, for love. In Aethria, this deep form of sacrifice is called velrania, meaning the love that offers without losing itself. Aethrians believe that true love requires giving, but not at the cost of one's soul. But how much should we sacrifice? When does love nourish us, and when does it consume us? This chapter explores the beauty and limits of sacrifice and love through mythology, psychology, and real-life stories. The two types of sacrifice and love. 1. Healthy sacrifice, compromising for the relationship without losing oneself. Supporting a partner's dreams while also pursuing one's own. Giving time, energy, and effort to nurture love. This type of sacrifice leads to a stronger bond. 2. Unhealthy sacrifice, giving up your identity, dreams, or happiness to please another. Enduring pain or mistreatment in the name of love. Losing yourself while trying to hold on to someone else. This type of sacrifice leads to resentment, exhaustion, and loss of self-worth. Not all sacrifice is noble. Some slowly erases who we are. The story of Sati and Shiva, a sacrifice born of devotion. In Hindu mythology, Sati, the goddess of devotion, loved Shiva, the god of destruction, with a love so pure that she defied the world to be with him. Her father, King Daksha, despised Shiva and forbade their union, but Sati chose love over family and married Shiva against her father's will. One day, when Daksha humiliated Shiva, Sati could not bear the insult. She sacrificed herself in fire, proving her love through death. Shiva, in his grief, carried her body across the universe, refusing to let go. Only after Sati was reborn as Parvati could their love continue, this time with balance, not sacrifice. Lesson from Sati and Shiva. Sacrifice without balance leads to destruction. Love should never demand one's existence as proof of devotion. The story of Anna and Victor, a modern love that required sacrifice. Anna was an artist. Victor was a scientist. They fell in love, but their dreams led them in different directions. Anna wanted to move to Europe for her career, while Victor was dedicated to his research in the US. Instead of forcing one to give up their dream, they made a pact. Anna would pursue her art in Europe, but they would visit often. Victor would take time off from his research to spend months with her. They sacrificed convenience, not themselves, and love survived. Lesson from Anna and Victor. Love requires compromise, but it should not demand the death of dreams. The right love finds a way to honor both people's paths. The psychology of sacrifice and love. When is it too much? Studies on love and sacrifice show that 1. People who over-sacrifice often lose self-worth. Constantly giving without receiving creates resentment and emotional exhaustion. 2. Healthy sacrifice strengthens love, while extreme sacrifice weakens it. Sacrificing small things builds love. Sacrificing too much destroys it. 3. The strongest love balances we and me. Love thrives when both partners support each other's happiness, not when one disappears for the other. True love does not ask you to give up who you are. It asks you to grow together. The Aethrian connection, velrania, love that offers without losing itself. In Aethria, sacrifice is sacred, but it must be balanced. Velrania teaches that love should be a dance of giving and receiving. Love should nourish both people, not just one. Sacrifice is only meaningful when it does not erase the self. Aethrians believe that a love that demands total self-sacrifice is not love, it is surrender. How to love without losing yourself. 1. Know your non-negotiables. Oh, what parts of your life, dreams, and identity should never be sacrificed? Oh, define what is too much to give up for love. 2. Ask, is this sacrifice bringing us closer or just hurting me? Oh, some sacrifices strengthen love, others drain it. 3. Find love that supports, not demands. True love will encourage your growth, not diminish you. 4. Learn the difference between compromise and self-betrayal. Compromise equal to meeting halfway. Oh, self-betrayal equal to giving up who you are to keep someone else happy. Conclusion: love that gives, but does not consume. Love is about sharing, growing, and sometimes sacrificing, but it should never ask you to lose yourself completely. The right love strengthens you, not weakens you. The right love asks for partnership, not personal extinction. The strongest love finds balance between giving and keeping. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Are you sacrificing in love, or are you disappearing in love? Chapter 26, Eternal Love. Does love last forever? Introduction. Can love truly be eternal? Every great love story carries the promise of forever. Couples vow to love each other until death and beyond. Some believe that love transcends lifetimes, returning again and again. Others see love as a fleeting emotion, beautiful while it lasts, but destined to fade. But is eternal love real? Some love lasts a lifetime, while other love burns intensely and then disappears. Some love is remembered through stories, memories, and legacy, while others believe love can cross into the next life. In Aethria, eternal love is called vel Aethrian, meaning the love that neither time nor death can erase. Aethrians believe that love, in its purest form, does not end. It transforms, evolves, and continues in unseen ways. This chapter explores the different forms of eternal love through history, mythology, science, and spiritual traditions to answer the ultimate question. The 4 types of eternal love. 1. Love that lasts a lifetime. Oh, some love survives every challenge, every trial, remaining strong until death. 2. Love that returns across lifetimes. Some believe that certain souls find each other again and again, lifetime after lifetime. 3. Love that lives on in memory. Oh, some love never fades because it is passed down in stories, songs, and history. 4. Love that exists beyond death. Oh, some believe love is not bound to the physical world and continues in the afterlife. The story of Penelope and Odysseus, a love that waited forever. Penelope and Odysseus were husband and wife in ancient Greece. But when Odysseus was sent to fight in the Trojan War, he was gone for 20 years. Everyone told Penelope to move on. They told her he was dead, that she should remarry. But she refused. She believed in their love and she waited. Odysseus, after years of struggle and hardship, finally returned, and their love remained as strong as ever. Lesson from Penelope and Odysseus. Some love endures through time, patience, and unwavering faith. True love is not just passion, it is loyalty, commitment, and belief in each other. The story of Rumi and Shams, a love that transcended time. Rumi, the great Persian poet, met Shams of Tabriz, a wandering mystic, and their souls instantly recognized each other. Their bond was not romantic, but spiritual, eternal, and transformative. When Shams disappeared, Rumi's love did not die. It turned into poetry that has lasted for centuries. His words of love are still read, recited, and felt hundreds of years later. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. Rumi. Lesson from Rumi and Shams. Love does not die, it transforms. Some love lasts through words, art, and the impact it leaves behind. The science of eternal love. Can love last forever in the brain? Neuroscience has studied long-term love, and the findings are surprising. 1. Love can last a lifetime. Brain scans show that couples who have been together for decades still have activity in the dopamine and attachment centers, just like new lovers. 2. Love creates permanent brain pathways. When we deeply love someone, they become a part of our neural wiring, which is why we still feel their presence even after they are gone. 3. Memories of love stay stronger than other emotions. Love is processed in the limbic system, the same place that stores deep emotional memories, which is why love does not fade like other emotions. Science confirms what poets and philosophers have said for centuries. Love leaves a permanent imprint on the soul and mind. The Aethrian connection, Aethrian, the love that does not end in Aethria. Love is seen as a force that is never truly lost. Aethrian teaches that love is not limited to one lifetime. It returns, transforms, and echoes through eternity. Even when people separate, the energy of love remains. Some lovers find each other again in new lives, new forms, or through the people they inspire. Aethrians believe love does not belong to time, it belongs to the soul. Even if love ends in one life, it finds a way to continue in another. Love is the only thing we take with us beyond death. Can love continue beyond death? Many spiritual traditions believe that love does not die when the body does. 1. Love in the afterlife. Many cultures believe that lovers meet again after death, whether in heaven, paradise, or another realm. Near-death experiences often describe seeing loved ones waiting on the other side. 2. Love and reincarnation. Some believe that souls who love each other are reborn together, finding each other again in new lives. Past life regression therapy has revealed cases where people recall loving the same soul in different lifetimes. 3. Love that becomes a legacy. Even when lovers part, their love lives on in the people they touched, the children they raised, and the stories they left behind. How to cultivate eternal love in this life. Even if love is eternal, it must be nurtured in the present. 1. Choose love every day. Love lasts when we keep choosing it, even through challenges. 2. Let love change forms. If love transforms into friendship, memory, or inspiration, it is still love. 3. Love beyond time and distance. Whether near or far, in this life or another, true love does not require physical presence. It only requires the soul to remember. Conclusion: love that never dies. So, does love last forever? Yes, in the bonds that never break. Yes, in the memories that never fade. Yes, in the souls that find each other again and again. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Is your love only for this lifetime, or is it meant to last beyond time itself? Chapter 27. The Future of Love. How Love Will Evolve in the Next Century. Introduction. The Changing Landscape of Love. Love has always evolved. In ancient times, marriages were arranged for survival, wealth, or family honor. The modern world brought romantic love, where personal choice became the foundation of relationships. Now, technology, globalization, and artificial intelligence are reshaping how humans experience love. The question is no longer just who we love, but how we love. Will technology replace human connection? Will love become borderless and free from societal norms? Will artificial intelligence develop to a point where humans fall in love with machines? In Aethria, the future of love is called Velzenaris, meaning the love that expands beyond boundaries. Aethrians believe that love is not static. It moves, adapts, and finds new ways to exist. This chapter explores how love is changing and will continue to change, from digital intimacy to AI romance, and what it means for the future of human connection. The 5 ways love will evolve in the future. 1. Love without borders, globalized romance. Technology has already erased many barriers. A person in one country can fall in love with someone on the other side of the world, maintaining relationships through video calls, instant messages, and virtual experiences. In the future, advancements in holographic communication and virtual reality dating may make long-distance love feel almost identical to in-person relationships. But will physical distance still matter? Will love exist more in the mind than in the body? 2. Artificial intelligence and love. Can humans love machines? As AI becomes more advanced, some people are already forming emotional bonds with AI companions. AI-powered chatbots are designed to offer personalized companionship. Some people claim to feel deeply connected to their AI partners. Future AI could develop the ability to simulate emotions, remember conversations, and evolve in relationships. The question is, can love exist without biological emotions? If an AI can understand, respond, and comfort like a human, is the love any less real? While some believe AI will never replace human intimacy, others argue that love is about connection, not biology. 3. Digital love and virtual reality relationships. The rise of VR dating and digital intimacy suggests that love will continue shifting toward non-physical spaces. In the future, full sensory VR experiences may allow couples to go on virtual dates, touch, and even feel each other's presence without ever meeting in person. Some relationships may exist entirely in the digital world, with partners living in separate countries but experiencing life together in a shared virtual space. This raises philosophical questions. Does love require physical presence, or is emotional and mental connection enough? Will digital love create stronger emotional bonds or disconnect people from real-world intimacy? 4. Genetic and psychological compatibility matching. Dating apps already use algorithms to match people based on interests and personality, but in the future, love may be determined by biological and psychological data. Genetic matching could analyze compatibility on a DNA level, predicting which couples have the strongest emotional and chemical bonds. Neurotechnology could scan brain activity to match individuals based on deep psychological compatibility. If science could predict our perfect match, would we trust it, or would we still rely on emotion and intuition? 5. Open love and relationship redefinition. The traditional model of love, one partner for life, is already shifting. Many cultures now accept polyamory, relationship anarchy, companionate partnerships. As time progresses, love may no longer be confined to one structure. Future generations may define love based on connection rather than societal norms. Will the future be more open, more flexible, and free from traditional expectations? The Aethrian connection, Velzenaris, the expanding love. In Aethria, love is never limited by form, time, or tradition. Velzenaris teaches that love is meant to evolve, not remain fixed. Love is about connection, whether physical, emotional, digital, or spiritual. The essence of love is timeless, even if its expression changes. Aethrians believe that as love expands, humanity will need to find balance between technology and true emotional connection. Is the future of love a blessing or a curse? As love evolves, there are both exciting possibilities and potential dangers. The benefits of the future of love: greater emotional connections across distances, more personalized, fulfilling relationships through AI and genetic matching, breaking free from restrictive norms, allowing love to be more fluid and inclusive. The dangers of the future of love: loss of real-world intimacy. If digital love replaces physical presence, dependence on AI or virtual partners, leading to emotional isolation. The risk of overanalyzing love, removing its natural, unpredictable magic. As technology grows, humans will need to choose how to use it as a tool to enhance love, not replace it. How to prepare for the future of love. The future of love is unknown, but we can prepare by 1. Focusing on emotional depth over digital convenience. Technology can assist love, but it should not replace genuine human emotion. 2. Staying open to new forms of love without losing ourselves. Love may change, but core human needs for connection, trust, and care will remain the same. 3. Balancing tradition and innovation. Oh, the future will bring new ways to love, but old values like honesty, commitment, and respect should never fade. Conclusion: love will always exist, but in new forms. Love is one of the few things that has always survived every era, every change, every challenge. Love was once bound by distance, but now it crosses the world instantly. Love was once controlled by family and society, but now it is chosen freely. Love was once seen as only physical, but now it exists in digital, spiritual, and emotional realms. As the world changes, love will not disappear, it will transform. And so, as this chapter comes to an end, one question remains. Will you resist the future of love, or will you embrace its evolution? Chapter 28. The ultimate truth of love. What love teaches us about life, existence, and ourselves. Love is more than an emotion, more than a relationship, and more than a fleeting feeling. Love is the essence that binds humanity, the force that moves civilizations, and the greatest teacher of all. It exists beyond words, beyond time, and beyond the limits of the human mind. It has been explored through poetry, philosophy, religion, and science, yet its depth remains infinite. Love is the foundation of human experience. It has inspired revolutions, created art that lasts centuries, and driven people to achieve the impossible. It has healed wounds, given life meaning, and shaped the course of history. Love exists in every culture, every belief system, every story, and every soul that has ever lived. Whether in joy or heartbreak, love is the one force that no one can ignore. Throughout history, love has taken many forms. Some have found it in romantic devotion, others in the love of a child, a friend, or a cause greater than themselves. Some have seen love as a divine force, believing it to be the presence of the eternal within the human heart. Others have studied love through science, discovering how it affects the brain, body, and emotions. But no matter how it is defined, love remains the most profound and mysterious experience of all. Love teaches patience, for it does not always come when expected. It teaches resilience, for it requires strength to endure. It teaches sacrifice, for love often demands giving without expecting anything in return. It teaches growth, for love challenges people to become better versions of themselves. Love is the great mirror, reflecting both the deepest beauty and the greatest fears within the human soul. Love is the bridge between the self and the world. It is the invisible thread that connects people across distances, lifetimes, and even realities beyond what the mind can comprehend. Love is what makes a mother stay awake for her child, what makes an artist pour their soul into a creation, what makes a stranger stop to help another in need. It is not limited to grand gestures. It is found in the smallest moments, in the silent understanding between two people, in the kindness of a touch, in the comfort of knowing that one is not alone. Love transcends time. Some love stories last for decades, while others exist for mere moments but change a person forever. Some love continues beyond death, in memories, in the way someone's presence lingers even when they are gone. Love does not need permanence to be real, nor does it need to fit any definition to hold power. Love is not measured by duration but by depth, not by perfection but by truth. The greatest lesson of love is that it begins within. A person who does not love themselves will always struggle to receive love fully. True love is not about seeking completion in another, but about sharing completeness. It is not about possession, but about presence, not about control, but about freedom. Love cannot be forced, held too tightly, or demanded. It can only be given freely, and in that giving, it multiplies. In Aethria, love is seen as the essence of existence itself. Love is not something separate from life, it is life. It is the energy that fuels the universe, the force that moves all things. In its highest form, love is not bound to romance, relationships, or even the physical world. It is the deep connection between all things, the recognition that everything is woven together in an endless dance of creation and reunion. Love is both the greatest pleasure and the greatest challenge. It brings joy and sorrow, hope and loss, ecstasy and suffering. But through it all, love remains the one thing that gives meaning to existence. Without love, life is empty. With love, even the simplest moments become sacred. As this book comes to an end, one truth remains. Love is not something to be found. It is something to be lived. It is not a destination. It is the journey itself. Whether in the arms of a beloved, in the warmth of a friend, in the passion for a purpose, or in the quiet peace of one's own heart, love is always present. It is the force that shapes destiny, the language of the soul, and the only thing that truly lasts. And so, as this journey concludes, only one question remains. Are you ready to live a life filled with love? That is the ultimate question, the essence of everything we seek, the foundation of every choice we make. Love is not just something we receive, it is something we cultivate, something we embody, something we become. To live a life filled with love is to walk through the world with open arms, to embrace both the beauty and the pain, to give freely without fear of loss, and to understand that love is never truly gone, it only changes form. To live with love means to see the world not as something to conquer, but as something to cherish. It means to look into the eyes of another and recognize a reflection of oneself. It means to accept imperfections, both in others and in oneself, knowing that love is not about perfection, but about presence. A life filled with love is not always easy. It requires courage to open the heart, patience to nurture connections, and wisdom to know when to hold on and when to let go. It demands the strength to forgive, the humility to apologize, and the vulnerability to trust. It is not something that happens by accident, but something we choose every day. So the question remains, not as an ending, but as a beginning. Are you ready to live a life filled with love? Glossary of Aethrian terms in Aethrian Love. This glossary presents the key Aethrian terms introduced in Aethrian Love, arranged in alphabetical order. Each term represents a unique aspect of love as understood in Aethria, emphasizing its depth, transformation, and eternal nature. Aaron Valora. A belief that love is influenced by celestial energy but is not bound by destiny. Aaron Valora suggests that while the stars and cosmic forces may offer guidance, love remains a conscious choice made by two individuals. In Aethria, this concept aligns with the understanding that love is a sacred dance, where souls align when they are ready, rather than by fate alone. Aethrianis, a love that transcends time and space, where souls find each other across multiple lifetimes. It represents twin flames, karmic connections, and past life relationships, suggesting that some bonds are never truly broken. In Aethrian philosophy, Aethrianis is seen as an eternal reunion, souls recognizing one another in different forms, always drawn together by an unseen force. Aethrian Vera. The Aethrian concept of soulmates, where two souls deeply reflect each other's truths. Unlike traditional soulmate beliefs, Aethrian Vera relationships are not always romantic. They may exist to awaken, challenge, or heal. Some soulmates remain lifelong companions, while others cross paths only briefly, leaving a profound impact before moving on. Velashira. The fundamental principle that self-love is the foundation of all other love. Aethrians believe that before one can truly love another, they must cultivate love within themselves. Velashira is about recognizing self-worth, setting boundaries, and nurturing inner peace so that love can be given and received freely without dependency or fear. Veleltherin. Eternal love that surpasses time, death, and even physical presence. This form of love exists in different ways. Some love lasts a lifetime, some is remembered through legacy, and some returns in new lifetimes. Aethrians see Veleltherin as a reminder that love never truly disappears. It simply changes form, continuing in unseen ways. Belrania. A balanced form of love that involves giving, but not at the cost of one's identity. Love often requires sacrifice, but Velrania teaches that true love should uplift both individuals, rather than diminish one person for the sake of another. Aethrians believe that real love is not about losing oneself, but about growing together in harmony. Velshinari. The act of forgiveness in love, emphasizing that love cannot thrive when weighed down by resentment. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or allowing harm, but rather freeing the heart from the past. In Aethria, Velshinari is considered essential for love's longevity, as it allows relationships to heal and grow, rather than remain trapped in pain. Velshinira. A love that connects people from different backgrounds, cultures, and belief systems. This form of love does not seek to erase differences, but to embrace them, allowing two people to grow and learn from one another. In Aethria, Velshinira is celebrated as a sacred union of perspectives, where love acts as a bridge between worlds, rather than a force that demands conformity. Veltheralis, the healing power of love, which does not erase wounds but provides the emotional space for recovery. Veltheralis refers to both self-healing and the kind of love that nurtures, comforts, and brings peace. Aethrians see this as love's most transformative ability, the capacity to mend hearts, whether through deep relationships or through the simple act of being present for another. Veltherin, a love that endures through hardship, war, and suffering. In Aethrian philosophy, Veltherin is the ultimate test of love's strength, proving that true connection does not break under pressure. It is the love that stands firm despite distance, challenges, and obstacles, remaining a source of hope even in the darkest times. Velmira. A love that defies restrictions, societal norms, and expectations. It is the love that persists even when forbidden or impossible, refusing to conform to rules that seek to suppress it. In Aethria, Velmira is seen as the most courageous form of love, the kind that fights for its right to exist, no matter the consequences. Velzenaris. The evolution of love in the modern and future world. Love is not static. It moves with time, adapts to new realities, and finds new ways to express itself. Velzenaris represents the ever-changing nature of love, whether through technology, shifting societal norms, or new forms of connection. In Aethria, this term reminds people that love should never be limited by outdated ideas, but should continue to grow with the world. Zithera. A love that transcends physical presence, existing through emotional, digital, or spiritual connection. It represents long-distance love, online relationships, and deep emotional bonds formed beyond the physical world. Aethrians believe that love does not require proximity. It only requires the recognition of connection between two souls, regardless of distance. This glossary serves as a reflection of Aethria's philosophy, which teaches that love is not singular, but vast, evolving, and eternal. Love takes many forms, and its power lies in its ability to transform, heal, challenge, and endure. Whether in the past, present, or future, Love remains the one force that binds all things together.